everyone, I hope you are all doing well. I'm back with another amazing guest today. His Instagram is dope as vegan and he is super inspirational. I am just waiting for him to join, but let me tell you a little bit about him. And oh, I don't need to because he is here. Let me add you. Okay. This works. Hopefully this works.
Hi, my
Hi,
friend.
hi, how
How are
are
you?
you? I'm great, I'm great.
I'm so privileged that you're joining me today. I really, really am. So I find your Instagram account super inspirational. I
Thank you.
really, really do. I think your personal journey that you share and you're full of wisdom as well. I actually join into your lives regularly and I just take away so much like amazing information that just make me feel better. So I really appreciate that. So I'm super excited to talk to you today.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
And
it.
I'm glad that you can understand my accent as well.
Uh, I wasn't worried about it, but
It was me. It was me. So before we so today, just to kind of let you know, I've written down just to keep me on track. But we're going to be discussing your whole journey to go vegan. But before we do that, can you just tell us, please, like a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you post on Instagram? So, I'll tag you on the caption later so people can find you.
well, let me see. A little bit about me. Well, I am a New Yorker from New York. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. Now I reside in the Bronx. Yeah. Um, my upbringing was a typical Puerto Rican and indigenous um, way of living and eating. We ate copious amounts of just really horrible things, I guess. Um, but I didn't know any better. Being
Yeah.
a child, you kind of like just eat what your parents give you.
Yeah.
Um, as far as my my early like start to veganism, um, my start to veganism was quite weird. And this is why I
Okay.
say this is why I say it. Well, my wife went vegan first, and
Okay.
I was having a multitude of just um, horrible. Just my health was failing, basically.
Okay.
At one point in my life, I was 625 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I used to say I was one cheeseburger away from the grave,
Mm.
and a lot of people like laugh, and then they kind of get it, you know.
Mm.
Uh,
Serious.
yeah, it wasn't something where I was trying to make light of it. I was just trying to cope with my, I guess, my mortality, you know.
Yeah.
Then I had a horrible accident that ended up I guess shredding my spinal cord a little. Um, and it was too, and it's crazy because it was honestly just something that people do every day. My dog went to go do something crazy, and I went and jumped and grabbed him, and I immediately felt my back just explode in pain. Um,
Wow.
Next thing I knew, I was completely um, for the most part, I guess, I guess I was numb from the neck down for almost 9.5 months. I had to relearn how to walk. how to talk, how to hold utensils. Basically, I went back to square one as a child. Um, and it was because um, my my disc went from it goes in your spine this way, and it went this way, and it pulled my spinal cord in such a way where it crushed it up against the actual bone.
Oh wow, that sounds so painful, and like you said, it just happened quite quickly, just
Yeah,
like that.
it was honestly, I like to say it was one of the best things to ever happen to me. And when I say that, people go, "What?" And I go,
Mhm.
well, it was. I mean, it saved my life. I was for those of you who don't know my background, I was a chef and also a nutritionist, so I understood what it took to um, regain health.
Yeah,
Um, but I just was not putting it into practice, which most people understand what it is they have to do in order
yeah,
to, create health. But they tend to, I'm not feeling good, or I feel sad, or so they eat, and
mm,
I was the same. I did actually
me
the
too.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do that.
yeah, you tend to medicate with food. Some of us do illicit drugs, and our drug of choice is food.
Mm.
So um, a lot of people don't understand that, you have two choices when it comes to food. You can either feed sickness or feed health.
Yeah,
So I was tired of feeding my sickness, so I started, trying to figure out ways to fix myself. So, um, so my wife, again, going back to my wife suggested going, whole foods, plant-based, and I was like, no way, absolutely not. I was like, there's no way. Me personally, I would never. Um, and she was like, why not? She was like, why not? You cook for me all the time. Clearly you know what you're doing when it comes to this, so why don't you just
mm,
try it? And I gave into, of course, the toxic masculinity, because in the US, I don't know about UK, but in the US, like some of these, like, like, I don't know, commercials, like the beef industry is hilarious over here. Like they're just like, real men eat beef, So I was
uh,
like,
I
so I
haven't
was,
seen it, but I can imagine.
yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm a real man. I don't,
Yeah,
hey, But then I slowly started to understand um, that none of that really mattered. You know, um,
mm,
what does it matter you being a real man if you're
yeah,
real dead? It's like, and there's a cross section in veganism that um, tends to look down on people who start their journey as far as starting it for health.
yeah,
They're like, oh, you're a plant baser, you're this, you're that, and with all due respect to the super vegans, um, any person who chooses to change their life so completely,
yeah,
right, and also get not only that, but be ostracized by their community, be ostracized by their families, you know, you cannot say that these people are not as important to the movement
mhm,
as someone who chooses morally to be a vegan. You
yeah,
know, it's like, you know, yeah, you may have started for a different reason, but if you stay, a whole food plant-based vegan, then that means you're vegan because you made a moral choice to do as least harm as you possibly can.
Yeah,
And that includes doing it to yourself. You know, like
I agree.
yeah, like I don't know. I find it weird that so many people are so willing to ostracize people who honestly are just trying to do the best they can, you
Yeah.
know?
I
So,
totally agree. You know, from my perspective, I
mhm,
think different people connect with different reasons at some point in their life. And you know, some connect with the animals, some connect for health reasons, and
mhm,
some connect because of the planet and sustainability. But
yeah,
how I see it, no matter what the initial reason was, it all has a positive knock-on effect in every
exactly,
and
exactly.
and we don't, you know, we've had so many years of what I call conditioning, you know,
Yeah,
of this is good for this is good for
mhm,
that. So if that initial like entry point was health, no doubt once they, you know, once you become vegan, all the other information kind of follows, and then we learn. I learn
mm,
every day, learn more about the planet, learn more about what's going on for the
yeah,
animal, because it's not actually over here anyway, and it'll be interesting to know how it is. It's not
yeah,
like, it's not that exposed. The
mm,
information isn't really readily out there, so we
yeah,
have to kind of learn. So that's my opinion. I think if anyone goes vegan for whatever reason, I'm happy for them, and I think it's a great decision. And can I just read this comment? And
sure.
yeah, yeah. So we've just had a comment in, yeah, that be bold, be you. I love that name. Oh, yeah, it used to be
Oh yeah,
carnivore, and then
mhm,
grew up as a. So he can really relate to your journey, and
yeah,
now he's a strong vegan, and
that's right.
he's loving us, and it's brilliant. And I think that's one of the benefits of going vegan, is that you
Yeah,
feel so good. But
yeah,
I love that point that you raised. So
mhm,
going back to the traumatic time, actually,
yeah,
because I didn't know about that. I saw the
oh,
transformation, and I
yeah,
find your whole journey, you know, inspirational. So
yeah.
how did you get through that? And at what point did you decide you want to go vegan?
Let me see. Well, it took me almost a year to get out of the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, during that time, I noticed how even in the hospital setting,
Hmm.
the food was abysmal.
Yeah.
Um, I I had already started to shift more towards a plant-based way of living. I would say 6 months into that hospitalization, just for the simple fact that the food was so horrendous that I would I would eat, the fruit, whatever veggies they would steam to gray. Everything was gray. Like even carrots. How do you make carrots gray? But so I was like, I said, listen, I said I really need to maybe make a change. So when I came out of the hospital, I decided to go paleo.
Okay.
And yeah, let's just say no, no.
Okay.
um,
What, so what was your experience of that, and why did you decide this isn't for you?
I just felt sick. I felt
Okay.
sick all the time. Like I've always had a problem digesting milk and
Yeah.
casein, stuff like that. And most indigenous and brown people have that problem.
Yeah.
So I started understanding that maybe there was something that I needed to do as far as like an elimination diet.
Hmm.
Um, it turns out that I had to eliminate everything, everything that comes from an animal. So what I did was I told my wife, I said, listen, I won't call myself vegan just because of the condensate, what it holds,
Yeah.
um, but I would say that I was just I would eat like basically salads and a whole bunch of fruit, So then I started to, get better, feel better. And then on December 20th of 2000, what was it? 2017,
Mhm.
um, I went to the doctor because I had a huge lump on the side of my neck. That lump turned out to be non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is cancer. Um, so I went to my oncologist on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, and he gave me the news and he told me, hey, we need to start chemo ASAP. We need to do this, that, and the third. And I was taken aback by it. I was like, whoa, allow me a chance to, come to grips with this.
Yeah.
Um, Also, my family has a history of, well, my family was completely decimated by cancer. I lost both my parents, both my grandparents, two siblings, and my uncle, unfortunately, and basically everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. It's just is basically what I always tell people is people always say, oh, genetics. I say absolutely not. I say it can be genetic. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. They found that 10% of your genes can, if you have, people in your family that have had cancer, it can come. But what happened to the other 90%? That under 90% is the way we eat.
Yeah.
So my family, I learned from my family that, hey, I need not to eat that way because none of them are here, you know? Um, so that's when I started really shifting into learning about, um, of course, veganism, but different forms of
Yeah.
veganism, right? You have, fruitarian, you have raw tofu, you have alkaline, you have all these other, there's all, different subsets of
Yeah.
the same thing. For me, alkaline seems to work best for me because it's a healing way of eating. Um, I say lifestyle because it truly is. It's very strict,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of people are turned off by that. But me personally, I've always been a very regimented person. Like I like, I go to the gym at the same time. I work out for the same amount of time. I'm a person of habit. I still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because why? I just do. Um,
I think it's
so
good to have routine, but I know from my past experience working
yeah,
with chefs, it is that kind of got to
yeah,
get things done by a deadline,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so, but I think it's a great way to be.
Exactly. Our minds work like machines. Like get this done so that everything else can get done. So, so it's just like so I sat down with my wife and I told her, hey, you can, do your own vegan stuff. I'll cook for you. It's no problem. But for me, I'm going to try to alkalize my body in such a way so
Yeah.
that, cancer won't grow, and that was almost 6.5 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Well
And
done. Well done. I just want to say I'm so
yeah.
sorry to hear of your loss of your family. It really, um, touched my heart to know that you went through that. And I just find it super admirable that, that and your strength to even go through that yourself and just make the change for yourself. And you're touching so many people's lives just by what you being you, and
Yeah.
then you share it on Instagram as well.
That's all I want. I mean, to be honest, like the thing, almost, well, listen, I died 3 times in the hospital,
Okay.
right? The first time was when I first got in, I was unable to breathe because my diaphragm stopped working. Um, so they brought me back from that. Then I caught a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot that goes from the leg to the lungs.
Yeah.
and and I literally died for a minute and a half. Like they paddled me and everything. So when I came back from all that stuff, people always say, "Oh, you're so matter of fact about talking about it." I said, because for me, it wasn't a bad thing. For
Yeah.
me, it showed me it was a course correction. Like I tend to tell people that if you if you stay in the negative way of thinking, right? And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a place for negativity,
Hmm.
not in my life, but there's a place for negativity, How would you know if it's positive if you've never seen negative, right? So
True.
so I was like, I always felt like at any negative, I need to make a positive out of it,
Hmm.
right? So my whole life, I had this like this aching in my heart, like I wanted to understand what my purpose in this little blue green, ball that we're flying through, and I I found it. I found it, and it's weird to say because most people they don't like to say, "Hey, I found my purpose." But my purpose is to show people that if a disabled
Yeah.
cancer survivor, okay, indigenous Puerto Rican, okay, that if anybody on here is Puerto Rican, they understand that meat is a the mainstay of our meals. Okay, there
Yeah.
is no meal without meat for them, right? So if I can do it, absolutely anyone can. Anyone. Okay. Like I get so tired of hearing people, oh, veganism is so expensive. Absolutely, it can be. If you
Yeah.
decide to go eat all these crazy things that just came out, listen, veganism has shifted and changed so completely from when I first became a vegan. I can't even imagine what's gonna happen 6, 7, 8, 10 years from now, you know. But as for me, I eat simply. I eat chickpeas. I eat quinoa. Well, not so much quinoa now because of of what it's doing to other people, but we won't talk about that. Um, I do a lot of kamut. I do a lot of I just try to eat as simple as possible, but
Yeah.
also bring the Spanish flavors, the Puerto Rican flavors in there. So, and it's like I tell people that if you find something that truly brings you joy, then it stops being a job, you know?
Yeah.
So like for me, helping people and being positive and showing people, that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're an able-bodied person, a disabled person, a disadvantaged person, you can absolutely positively make a difference in this world. Of course you can. Of course
Yeah.
you can. As long as you have a voice, you can, you know?
I think so. I totally agree. And this is why you are so inspirational, honestly, to me and I know others as well. Just, sharing your journey and sharing how you live your life and your positivity as well can really support others
Yeah.
and uplift others. And I get a lot from just looking at your content. And like I said earlier in this live, watching your lives that you do, I can go away feeling uplifted and motivated and I've got this. So you are truly living out your purpose. You are.
I try. I mean, I lived in such like I came from such a dark place,
Yeah.
to get to where I am, that I tell people if you don't know darkness, then you truly don't understand what it is to be joyful.
Yeah.
It's like I remember like being a teen. I was an overweight teen. First of all, I was an overweight kid. I was
Mm.
an overweight teen, and then I went to a super obese adult.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I think, you know, the universe that I've always been faced with, really good people in my life, that
Yeah.
never made my weight a issue, you know. But I feel that like growing up in that situation where you're a heavy set person or a big person, you know, it's like it's absolutely your job to understand what it is you're doing to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it takes accountability to do anything, let alone, mind you, like today I jumped on the scale, which I don't usually do a lot because I don't like to. Me and scales, we have a weird hate relationship, and it told me that I was down 435 pounds. Okay,
Okay.
now for most people, 435 pounds is like three people.
Yeah, because we have different like ways of measuring here. So
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I don't know what that is. But three people
Okay.
I get.
Okay. So let me see. 435, I think, is 90 stone. Think.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check it
Oh,
out later.
yeah. Yeah.
Three
Okay.
people, I can
Yeah.
definitely understand
Yeah.
that.
So three middle-sized people.
Okay.
All right.
That's a
So
lot. And I was thinking anything in the hundreds sounds a lot.
no,
But
it's a lot. I mean, and it's so crazy because like when I sit down and I look at like old pictures and stuff, which I usually post. I have no filter when it comes to sharing. Like I
yeah.
I feel like the more I share, the more I can help people. So I'm an open book. If you ask me, I'll tell you, And like also a lot of my followers will tell you that if you reach out to me in the DMs, I would definitely hit you back.
Yeah.
If you need help or whatever, I will. It may take me a day or two, but I'll get there. Um, so I just feel like it's our duty
Yeah.
to help not only just you know the animals and ourselves, but we have to help the underserved people too.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people, they have this hang up with veganism. Oh, only for the animals. Why do people always got to get into? Because if you are truly caring and compassionate, okay, a human being, a good human being, you gotta care about the underserved people as well. Like you
Yeah.
can't just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the voice for the voiceless. I get it, you
Yeah.
know. But there's underserved people that don't have a voice either. Okay, like every day I see it. I mean, I'm a disabled person. Okay, my vegan activism is truly different than most.
Yeah.
Okay, like most people who go out and be, vegan activists or vegan influencers or whatever tag name you want to put on it, right? They have, oh, I got to go march. I got to go do this. I got to go do that.
Mm.
For me personally, I've marched in a wheelchair, but I've marched. I've been out. There's a huge square in Manhattan. It's called Union Square Park, right?
Mm.
That's where all the activists pretty much go to get their voice heard. And I've been out there with anonymous, with the voice for the voiceless.
Yeah.
I've been out there, you know, but there's also a sense sometimes where I feel that disabled vegan, there is no way to fit in, so we have to make our own space. We'll make
Yeah.
we'll make our own space. You know, and it's like it's crazy. Like a lot of people also believe that veganism is for a certain type of person. Okay, I don't know about in the UK, but in the United States, the largest growing population of vegans are the black and brown people. Okay, black and brown people have been vegan before the word was even said. You know, that's why if you ever look at my hashtags, I have a hashtag ITEL, right?
Yeah.
You know, I tell you, I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I tell the original vegans, okay, and they were a beautiful burnt sienna color. They were beautiful people, okay. So
yeah,
that's why I say we mustn't forget where we came from, okay. In order to get to where we're going to be, we can't discount the past. You know, we have to understand we all came from different places. None of us were born vegans. I mean, if you were, wow, that's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. But most of us, we used to eat I don't know if you guys, what do you guys call it over there? We call it the sad diet, or the standard American diet. But I don't know what you guys
I
call
don't,
it over
I don't think we call
there.
it
Anything?
anything. No, I think it's just
Okay.
part of our diet. It's just pretty
Okay.
standard to, over here to eat
Okay.
meat with everything,
Mm.
So yeah, um, I think, yes, so
Oh,
you were talking about the sad diet. Do you want to, can I, while we're kind of
yes,
pausing, you've
please. Yeah.
so many comments. Can you see them too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is it? Be
you,
bold and be you. Again with an amazing comment. Mental disability here. They're bipolar. Still getting out there, motivating and inspiring. It's the truth. It's like, we we have to make our own space, unfortunately, but that's fine. A lot of us don't care about that. All we care about is that we want to be accepted and understood, that we are here also for the animals. We're also here for the underserved. We're also here, we're in the fight along with you. It's like we don't
yeah,
need, yeah, like we don't need your protection. We don't need you guys to feel bad for us. We need you guys to understand that we have something to say, and we bring a lot to the table, you know?
definitely. I totally agree. And I believe that each one of us
Mm.
um, contributes to veganism in our own
Own
way.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, and no matter, people don't even need to have an Instagram account. If they're vegan, they're contributing to
Hmm.
veganism, even by just the choices they make every
Hmm.
single day. That could be
Yeah.
in a conversation with a colleague. I'm vegan.
Yeah.
Why are you vegan?
Yeah.
It could be, or it can be what you do, what I
Hmm.
do, or protesting as well.
Yeah.
So I think and different people are going to resonate with different forms of,
Exactly.
activism or
Hmm.
um. So I think everyone serves a purpose for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, am I right in thinking that earlier on you were saying that do you feel that when you were as a disabled vegan person, do you
Hmm.
feel like there wasn't like a space for you, or was you here just to create your own space anyway?
Yeah. Well, I have been faced with a multitude of, not so much like not being included, but there's certain spaces where I simply cannot go. I
Okay.
can't, like that, this year,
Yeah.
I went to the Vegan Day Festival, right? Amazing. I had an
Hmm.
amazing time, but the um it was completely unaccessible to people in wheelchairs.
Okay. I
Like,
totally understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that festival is an amazing, beautiful. It's so amazing to see so many different like types of vegans, so many different, but there's people that I know who are vegans and staunch supporters of the animal community, of the vegan community, that simply did not go because they knew that they wouldn't be able to go. They wouldn't be able to roll down those hills, get to there, so it's like I understand that the world was technically not built for people who have mobility issues.
Yeah.
And I'm 110,000% I understand, because I wasn't always disabled, but
Yeah.
now that I am, it's hard. I live in
Hmm.
one of the most accessible cities in the world, New York City,
Yeah.
and there's still places that I cannot. I cannot go, you know? And it's like, I never want to take away from the veganism. Never. I truly believe that this is something that in the future people will truly understand the worth of being a vegan, plant-based, alkaline, whatever you want to call yourself. Except for a meat eater. No, no, good. But I just feel like we have to understand too that there's people who, you know, who are out there that want to make a difference, want to make a change, but simply don't know the avenues to get to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
And
it's a problem. It really
it's
is. It's a
it's
problem.
true. I have like people that are super close to me, like almost family, that are in a
Hmm.
wheelchair. So I
Yeah.
see the insight of, you know, how difficult it can be to just dine out in certain restaurants
Hmm.
because of the access.
Yeah.
And people be you, I really love that Instagram
Amazing.
name.
Yeah.
Veganism is still a bigger issue than people think yet. And you know, I totally agree. I think change needs to happen where it is about inclusivity as
Yeah.
well,
Exactly.
and this is where amazing people like you are, you know,
Thank you.
change makers.
Hmm.
You are, you know, you change makers because you can highlight something, and
Yeah.
you know, whether that will be
Yeah.
instigating your own
Hmm.
vegan festival or something, and you know, it's just about like sharing the information. And I think as soon as people hear it, it might not be in the forefront of their mind, but once
Yeah.
people are aware of it, that actually we need to make sure that there's wheelchair access
Hmm.
and other things in place, then that could be a whole change in
Yeah.
itself.
Hmm.
So that's brilliant that you're really raising awareness of that. And
I appreciate it.
And can I just say another thing about your earlier amazing point, that you're right, I totally agree. Everything is super integrated. You know,
Hmm.
the animals are so important. We have to go vegan for the animals, and you know,
Hmm.
the planet, we're at critical times of the planet. And then there's so many, do you describe them as underserved, or
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah.
people
The
that need,
underserved. Yeah.
so many people that need to be looked after and looked, you know, I went to Amazon a couple of years ago, just before the lockdown. I'm super
Yeah.
privileged. And there's so many indigenous people that living in the Amazon as well. And I always
Hmm.
think about, you know, those people there, because of all the deforestation and everything that's happening there. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes don't know who they're affecting just by the consumption of meat.
Yeah.
Or yeah, we could go on. But I totally agree. I don't think
Yeah.
it's one solution. I think, and just by choosing veganism, it helps
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Like I just I don't understand how anyone could say I'm a vegan, right, and not have compassion for their own too. You know, it's like, don't get me wrong. Like I've had it out with fellow vegans. I've had it out with carnivores because they love me. Forget about it. And I've had it out, but at the end of all that, we still came to an agreement where good people need to do good because this world is run by negativity, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You
Did
know?
did did you watch that documentary Seaspiracy
Yes.
on
Yes, I
Netflix?
did.
Because even that, there was a part of that where you see, it was a few, probably a couple of months ago now when I watched it. Part where they, you know, there was people who was really being affected, and
Yeah.
I don't want to say the wrong thing, because I've watched so many documentaries, sometimes it merges into one. There's definitely people that were affected by the fish industry
Oh
direct,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
yeah, and it was quite scary. And so, you know, we're talking about the planet on one hand, and you know what's happening with the oceans and then the sea life, but the people
Yeah.
who may be being forced or have no choice and have to earn a living,
Yeah.
or you know, being caught
See
up in it as well.
what people don't understand about, like, you see, I was a chef, a district chef for one of the largest like markets in the world.
Yeah.
Um, so I got to see uh, factory farms. I got to
Hmm.
see, you know, all these things. And honestly, that was one of the things that truly pushed me over to being vegan.
Yeah.
Um, I went to, I used to have to go to the farms to make sure that the practices that they were doing were up to our standards, right?
Okay.
So I would try everything to get out of these trips. I
Yeah.
mean, everything, because I knew, I understood. So we went and they're like, come on, let's take you onto the floor so you can see. So they took me onto they called it the processing floor, but for me, it felt like a killing zone.
Yeah.
Okay. I went in there, and the first thing that hits you is the smell. Okay. It's a smell like no other. Okay. Um,
Could you describe it?
imagine, imagine, just smelling, um, just
Mm.
rotting, you know, and then iron, that tinge of iron, that blood smell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, and still now, like if I think about it, I can smell it.
Mm.
So they were like, "Oh, chef, come over here. We're gonna show you how we process a cow." Right? I was like, "No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good." They were like, "No, come on. We gotta we gotta show you." So I go and I'm walking up, and clearly it's a young man who must have just started this job. You
Yeah.
know, and you can tell he was an indigenous man. Just we recognize each other. We look at each other
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
Um, so I looked at him, and I just honestly, I looked at him, and I was like, man, he was like, this old man came from across the room, okay, took the air gun, and let me tell you something. Even thinking about it, oh man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Now take
um,
all the time you need. It took me a second to even connect what you were saying because, so to witness it,
it was definitely. Uh, I'm sorry.
honestly, I think I think it's only normal to have
oh,
experienced that and feel this way and to have so much empathy because you're witnessing death.
oh man,
You're
and
witnessing death.
it was crazy because like the young man came over to me and he was crying too. We like, and everybody's just looking at us like, what the hell's going on, And I was just like, I'm sorry, this is empath problems, and they laughed it away. But if you have a oh God yourself, okay, if you have a
No,
heart in your in your chest,
it's fine.
oh man, if you have a heart in your chest, it's just like there's a reason why there's no windows in a slaughterhouse, you know, because if people were actually having to see what goes into getting that meat on their plate,
Yeah,
I would say 95% of the people in the world would just not be able to do it, and it's so crazy to see how disconnected people are to their plate, you know, and it takes people, you know, years to understand what I got in that split second,
yeah,
you know, and it's just like I always tell people, like, there's never trips to a slaughterhouse, you know. There's trips to petting zoos, you know, for the children. At least, you know, over here in the States, I'm sure they have it over there too.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they used to take us to petting zoos. They used to take us to zoos.
Mm.
And I always say I always had a vegan heart in my chest, you know, because like I hated zoos.
Yeah.
I hated aquariums, you know, and my mother always would say, you know, why are you crying? What's wrong? And honestly, it's just they're trapped,
Mm-hmm.
you
They
know. So
are.
yeah,
And
you know,
and we got a slight glimpse of feeling trapped last year in lockdown, but we were in our own homes. You know,
exactly.
people really. So imagine they're in a tiny cage.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry you had to witness
yeah,
that, and this is why it's so important for all of us for you to talk, for us to talk, to go
yeah,
vegan, because these poor animals have absolutely no choice. And the people who have to earn a living and maybe not want to do that but have no
yeah.
choice, it really hurts my heart
And
to
that's
just know what's going on.
and that's the thing. Like I sat down with the young man and I talked to him, you know, and I told him, you know, why are you here? You know,
Yeah,
if this is so like not in line with what it is that you want to do, and he told me the exact same thing you just said. He said, I'm just trying to feed my family. And I was just like, I understand, you know.
mm,
And it's crazy because it sends chills down like my body to
yeah,
just like I don't usually talk about like that experience because I get like this, but the reason why is because most people most people don't understand that,
yeah,
you know, that part of where their food comes from. And
yeah.
I feel like that's what we need. We need to start educating people on where your food comes from,
It's
you know?
so true. And, you know, I just want to say your reaction to what you experience is so normal. It honestly really, really is. It just shows how you care.
Yeah,
But there's 2 points that I kind of want to make. The first one is I like to like go and walk in nature sometimes, and we have
yeah,
fields, we have like sheeps and lambs, and that, you know, in the place I go, and the amount of people that stop and video them, and they're
yeah,
like in awe of them, and they're like, oh, and I just sit there and I wonder, I think, are they vegan? Because if they're
yeah,
not, they should be. And
yeah,
I'm tempted to ask them, because it is that connection. They're so close. They're seeing the beautiful animal and they're taking time to video them, or
hmm
whether it's the pet and zoo and taking their kids.
yeah,
Um, and they just need that connection to be
hmm
like, actually, let's just let them live their life.
yeah,
We don't need to, no one needs to eat any animals, and it's not our right to either. We can eat plant-based foods. And the
hmm
other thing I kind of want to say is there's a famous saying, say Paul McCartney from Liverpool, where I'm from. He said, shout out to Paul, but he said, if 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 slaughterhouses had glass walls, exactly what you said, everyone would be vegan.
yeah,
And here we, you know, it's in the countryside. We very rarely pass any of the lorries unless I'm on.
hmm
We call it the motorway. Is that
yeah.
like? Do you call it the motorway as well? Like the
No,
free? Is it
the
the freeway where you get from
freeway,
one
yeah,
city to
yeah,
city? Okay,
freeway,
I'm
yeah.
getting with it. But yet,
Oh
it's,
yeah.
but it's like occasionally we very rarely see actually what happens, because it's in the
Yeah,
countryside. But when I do see it, honestly, it breaks my heart. It feels
hmm
like it's transportation to death. And I
yeah,
see all the animals, and I just want to stop the lorry and take all the pigs and, or, you know, the animals with me, and I
yeah.
can't. And it's that kind of, it can be so upsetting because we want to do more, but we all are doing as
Yeah.
much as
We're
we can.
doing the best we can. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
like you said earlier, 6 years ago, when, you know, before you were vegan, even before I was vegan, there
hmm
was very hardly any vegan options. But now,
Yeah.
because of the way we're connecting to it, the
Yeah.
information, the change, the
hmm
demand, now we're seeing all these amazing vegan innovators creating plant-based foods, even if that helps us do an easy swap, you know, from one burger to a plant-based burger, for example. And the changes is certainly happen, and I think that is down to all of us. And this is why I appreciate every single person that is vegan, because I feel like every single one of us has collectively helped the change. We've got another message through, so if you don't mind me reading it. I never understood. Sorry. Yeah,
I never understood. Yeah, I never understood the lamb chops, even when I still ate meat. Yeah, that's what. I mean, you know what it is too, is like, okay, like where I grew up, it's Brooklyn, New York City. It's definitely one of the tougher places to live.
Yeah.
And as far as veganism, like I honestly, growing up, I never even heard of it. Like I knew of it. I knew of it because I've always been a student of history. You know,
Yeah.
I knew of the indigenous people who ate that way. I knew of, you know, but I never, you know, understood what it meant, right? Until I started doing my own research and because I'm a, you see me, I'm a nerd. I'm a super nerd. That's what I do. That's a
I am
too. And it's just like I started understanding that most people don't truly understand what happens to the food on their plate, right?
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about meat. We're talking about, you know, the grains, the fruits, the vegetables, everything, okay? Like I said, I'm alkaline. Now alkaline means, right? Alkaline means that there's a I always feel like Liam Neeson when there's a certain set of there's a certain set of rules that
but it is, isn't it? Please explain it for people that don't know. And just before we say that, hi Tim from Germany and Mexico as well. Okay, let's get into it because I'm so interested in alkaline diet and I've looked into it myself. So please, like, share it with us.
So the alkaline diet, basically what it is that you are constantly in flux in your body, right? You either are very you know, very acidic, which most people are, or you can try to alkalize your blood and everything inside.
Yeah.
Right? So like for me, when I first got really sick and my, you know, my cancer and all this stuff, I was eating a really acidic way, you know, a very acidic way. You know, I was eating, you know, whatever meat I wanted at that point. You know, I was a meat eater. I was eating all these cheeses, all this stuff, and I definitely felt something was wrong.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like my gut health was horrible, you know, and I said, listen, I have to fix myself. Something has to give. I have to do better. I have to stop doing, you know, so much harm to the animals and myself, you know?
Yeah.
So I started trying to eat like my wife, which is she's a transitional vegan. Now she's better, but when she first started, she was eating, you know, fries, you know, a whole bunch of, you know, just fried food.
I can relate. Yeah.
Mock meat, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I used to enjoy those things.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. You know, especially coming from eating, you know, animals and meat, it's a good way to transition into veganism and understand that, you know, hey, you can eat the way you used to. If you want to eat the way you used to, like crap, you know, you can still do it without doing harm. You feel me? Like
It's
just like
true. You know,
yeah.
For me, I wanted to encourage people to go vegan. Now, I have looked into like alkaline diets and I do know a little bit about health. But for me and my page, I am literally set up for that. If you want a burger, here's a burger.
Yeah.
Want an egg, you know, scrambled egg, here's a vegan scrambled egg. And I show people easy swaps. And just to go vegan and make it super simple. And then after, you know, occasionally I post about health foods. But you know, but I think that's the part of the transition, like you said, you know,
Exactly.
if that helps them go vegan and then
Yeah.
start thinking about health and whole foods.
Well, what happens to most people, most, is you go start eating transitional foods, and you start understanding. Your body starts to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is why I say that. When I was eating, standardly, meat, whatever, I could never understand like my body.
Hmm.
And this is why I say it. I would eat past the threshold of fullness because I
Yeah.
just I would eat whatever I wanted and then feel like crap for the rest of the day and then just think that that's normal,
Yeah.
and it's not. It's so not. Like, you're not meant to be bogged down by your food. You're meant to be fed by your food, right?
Yeah.
So once I started like exercising a lot, like I work out a lot. You guys know, you guys see my page. Um, I started to understand what it felt like to run on uh, plants, like
Yeah.
just real plants, real grains, stuff like that. And I started to notice that I was moving away from, the sweets and the mock meats and stuff like that. And it wasn't nothing that I meant to do. It was just my body was calling for certain nutrients, and that's what I would go to, you
Brilliant.
know. So then, with the whole cancer thing, I this is my cancer story because it's a weird one. I got told that I had cancer on December 24th, 6.5 years ago.
Hmm.
And then my oncologist at the time told me, hey, we got to do chemo, this, that, and that. I said, absolutely not. I said, I'm good. I said, if I if I'm going to die, then I'll die.
Hmm.
But I will not put this poison in me because, as you guys know, I've lost 7 people to
Hmm.
cancer, and they all went the route of chemo. Okay. My mother had leukemia. She had the rarest form of leukemia. This powerhouse of a little woman, okay, she was
Hmm.
4'11", amazing, amazing person. She beat it. She beat it,
Amazing.
right? She beat it, and then she went into full remission. 2 weeks later, she caught the common cold, and in less than 2 days, she was completely brain dead and gone.
I'm so
Now,
sorry
I,
that you went
I
through that.
I don't say it to make anybody feel anything. I say it to this is the point.
Yeah.
Chemo should be your last ditch effort. And
Mm.
and if you do it, more power to you. I
Yeah.
I I pray that everything goes well for you. But for me, I've seen my father. My father, when he got diagnosed with his liver cancer, he was 270 pounds,
Hmm.
right? Stout man, built. Okay. When I carried him out of our house, because I had to carry him out of our house, he was 100 pounds.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So it's like, how can the cure kill you?
Yeah.
Like, I never got that. So I tell him, no, I'm good. I'm not gonna do chemo. This gentleman, and I use the word gentleman very loosely. He sits here and he goes and he tells me, well, Mr. Carrero, I don't need your business. As you can see, business is booming. And that's when I knew that my decision was completely and utterly correct. And listen, I'm gonna be honest with all you guys out there, and you. If I do succumb to my sickness years later, then the years that I've had since are so much more. Um, how do I say it? So much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Okay, like for me, my legacy is cemented. I've helped my friends and family become vegan. I've helped people
Amazing.
heal from cancer. I had a young lady who was in the same cancer center with me, right? And I get checked up every 6 months to a year to make sure nothing's going crazy. And I see her, and she's beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful, just no hair, little bow.
Mhm.
And I sit down, and she looks at me, and then she looks at her phone. She looks at me and looks at her phone, and she goes, "Are you At that point, I was sick as vegan. So she was like, "Are you sick as vegan?" And I was like, I said, "Yeah, hi." She was like, "Oh, hi." She was like, "Hey, listen, I've been following your journey. You know, they tell me, because this was her last day there, because they told her basically to go home
Mhm.
and be ready to end, right?" So I told her, I said, "Hey, what are you what are you fighting?" And she was like, "I have a tumor in my brain that is chemo and radiation hasn't done anything to it."
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna send you." I said, do you have a like an Instagram or anything?" She was like, "Of course, I follow you there." So I gave her. I said, "I'll be in touch. I'm gonna send you a lot of information. So get ready
Mhm.
to read." And she was like, "Okay." So that very same day, I sent her at least, I would say, 62 pages of just stuff, things she should
Yeah.
eat, things she needs to replace, things she needs to get out, stuff like that. So about 2 3 months ago, I get a email from her. They gave her 6 months to live, right? She sent me an email. She said, "Hey Josh, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. You have completely changed my life. I am in full remission." This young
Wow.
lady was gonna die. They sent her home to die.
I can't
Okay,
believe that. I can't believe even, I couldn't even imagine hearing those words.
forget
You
it.
know, and the fact that she's changed her whole life
Mhm.
around in the course of her life,
Yeah,
and you have too.
I was
It's
just like,
inspirational.
I was like I was over the moon. So I was like, "Hey, can we talk?" Like, she was like, "Yeah." So I called her, and I was like, "So what's going on?" She was like, "Well, in the first 6 months, my tumor shrunk about 6 centimeters." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow." And so she was like, "Yeah, so now it's just an ongoing thing." I was like, "Good." I said, "So how are you eating now?" She was like, "Well, I'm full alkaline." She was like, I'm gonna remain alkaline." So I was just like, "Oh my God." Like, I was over the moon. Like, I was just like, "Wow, I can't believe it." That same day I had to do Hench Herbivores podcast, right?
Yeah.
I was in complete tears because I'm telling him, and we're both, I don't know if you're familiar with him. I'm sure you are, because he's hench, he's a big guy. He's
I'll look them
and,
up after. Yeah, I can't think of the top of my head, but if
yeah,
not, I'll find them.
he's from the UK, so you guys should connect. You
Is
guys need to, yeah.
he?
So, uh,
Hey.
so he was, so we're both crying, like
Mm,
pre podcast, like we're both,
yeah.
"Oh God, I can't believe it." Like,
Wow.
and that's the thing that I'm trying to say. Like, people gotta understand that your body wants to heal. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to afford it the opportunity to heal. Okay, by eating all these meats and all these dairy and all this stuff, you gotta think about it. Energy is perpetual, and muscle has memory. Okay, so when you sit down to eat your steak dinner, right, you're eating the sadness, the fear, and
Hmm.
there's a reason why depression and everything is so prevalent, because you're eating that, you're ingesting that,
I agree.
like,
I agree. I
you know,
agree. I
it's
do.
just like, yeah, like you eat, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I suffered for a long time with depression,
Hmm.
for a very long time. Like, I remember all my teenage years, and even my younger adolescent years too. I felt, just really sad, like not understanding why it was that I felt the way I did.
Yeah.
it's so crazy to say, and I know I'm gonna sound like one of these weird hippie people or whatever, but the minute I stopped eating death, I stopped feeling sad. And
It's true. It happened to me, honestly. And you don't sound like that. Like anyone can say anything to me, and I'm quite minded. But that's one of the questions I always ask people. How did you feel when you went vegan? Because for me, I like I know there were still, products in my body, but
yeah, of course.
it's this weight that lifted, and I just
Hmm.
felt so much happier. And
Hmm.
I did, and then eventually it all came out my system. But I think that was the instant thing that I felt was relief and
Yeah.
happiness.
It's
I totally
it's like you
agree.
it's like you go through life with these with these dark, glasses on,
Yeah,
right? And the minute that you start to wake up to how um just the food industry is made up to not to prolong life. Like I hate to say it this way, but
yeah,
it's been proven in the States, okay? Like big pharma, big, the big agriculture, big the just the meat industry in a whole, they exist to make customers and then make new ones. Just like big pharma. Like I know it's gonna sound crazy, and I'm sorry guys if I sound like a weirdo, but they
it's
took
a
it
business,
to, yeah, and
business.
that's the problem. Like I had this young lady tell me, "Oh, you're a vegan influencer, huh?" And I said, "Sweetie, I am not a vegan influencer. I am
Yeah,
an influencer of humanity. I want to help people understand that there's a better way to be, to be a better person, to be a positive light in this world, to be a person who lives in kindness, lives in compassion, lives in love. And the first person you have to learn how to love is yourself.
yeah,
And so many people don't know how to do that. They really don't. They can love on so many other people. They'll love on their family, they'll love on their spouse, but when it comes to them, they don't even know how to start.
yeah,
And I'm telling you, it's all connected. Once you start once you start understanding that all of this stuff is connected, you will soon be on this path that people are either gonna love you or despise you. Because they don't understand why it is that I had my own family. Some people in my own family. Oh, why are you always so damn happy all the time? Because I am. Like I'm sorry. Like I can't listen. I'm not gonna make any apologies. It's like I had this young lady who really like she was really angry at me. She sent me a DM. I hope I still have it. I'll send it to you if you want to see it. She was like, "Oh, that's why you're crippled, just with a this and a that." Yeah, like really angry.
why?
Yeah, so I told her,
Why
I
would
said,
I don't even understand why anyone would even want to think that, let alone say that.
I believe that there's people who are so deeply hurt
Mm,
that when they see someone who's been through more than they've been through and is genuinely happy,
yeah,
it kind of like pisses them off. So she was like, "Oh, like how could you be? Why are you so damn positive? You're in a wheelchair." I said, "Sweetie, I'm not in a wheelchair full time." I
mm,
said, "I have the luxury of using my baby legs." Okay, so I was like, "You need to." I said, "Sweetie, what's your problem?" I said, "Did I do anything to disrespect you? If I did, I'm sorry, but I know I didn't." So I said, maybe you need to take time to yourself and understand that maybe you need to work on something, right? So that
yeah.
that enraged it even more, which was hilarious to me because I'm like, wow, I'm trying to diffuse it, but I'm ending up making it more, worse.
Yeah,
So finally, I told her, I said, listen, I said, I can't make an apology for me being um, positive, but
yeah,
what I can tell you is that if you continuously live and that negativity that you're living in, nothing negative will ever bring anything positive unless you
Yeah.
make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I said, clearly, you don't look like the type that's going to make a negative into a positive. So I was like, all I could say is this: I pray that one day you can sit with yourself and look in the mirror and say, I'm okay, I'm good enough, and I'm an amazing person. And it was crazy because like I've never seen someone do a 180 this way. She was like, I thank you for that. And I was like, that's what I knew. I was like, okay, I got an opening. I was like, hey, I said, let me ask you a question. And she was like, yeah. I said, how long have you felt so angry? And she was like, I'm not angry. I said, sweetie, I, I said, as a former angry person, I said, that is the quintessential deflection. I'm not angry. Of course
Yeah.
you are. Of course you are, you know? So she was like, well, I guess I've been this way since she said, since my father died. I said, I feel like it wasn't fair. And
Yeah.
I said, passing is a thing that in our world is seen as a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But in the real world, everybody gets a chance to live and then their energy passes on to something else, right? Whether you believe in, heaven, or you believe in, like me personally, I believe that we're all energy. Energy is, perpetual. We never die. We just change, right?
Yeah.
So I told her that. She was like, "Yo, that's a beautiful way of thinking." She was like, "I'm gonna take that with me," and I said, "And you see how different things are if you understand that this world is so different if you come at it with a positive way of
Mm.
thinking. You know, it's
It's
like,
it's true. It's so
yeah,
true. I think it's like if you could wake up feeling great and
mm,
then go out and then all these amazing things can happen, or
yeah,
you can wake up feeling a little bit upset and then you
yeah.
can,
It
bang
draws
your
it in.
car,
Hmm.
get
Hmm.
get stuck in traffic. This
Yeah,
this isn't my normal day, but it's true. It's
exactly.
like what you put out, you
Yeah,
can get back, and that's one thing that I really admire and take a lot from your page and when you do your own lives is that you're
yeah.
super positive and motivating and and I think that helps a lot of people. And do
Yeah.
you think that's down to like obviously everything, but the what you life circumstances and going vegan and then choosing an alkaline diet? Have you seen the difference since?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, there's always going to be um, sadness. There's always going to be
Yeah.
negativity. Now, what I always tell people is how you approach it and how you deal with it. Like as far for me, when I became vegan, I started getting like this baseline of like I was like, okay, I feel good. I feel okay,
Mm-hmm.
And then I started practicing. Um, See, I'm weird because I get like this. I get this true enjoyment in uplifting people.
Yeah.
Like it's just something that's deep inside me. Like it's just I've always been that type too. Like I was that kid that if you were new in the class, I would be your first friend. I've always been that way, Like there's always that one kid that's like, yeah, he's cool, man. Like he's a good
Yeah,
guy,
yeah, I can understand because I'm like, I feel like sometimes I'm a cheerleader for some people. I'm
Yeah,
like, you can do it. And,
exactly.
I'm really, so I get you. I totally
So it's just like, and I guess that's why we enjoy talking to each other because,
definitely,
you
I
know,
see it in you. So, I mean, what you put out, I appreciate so
thank
much.
you so much. I
And it is
appreciate
so
it.
uplifting. And I don't want to just say it's just me because I've
Hmm.
been on your lives and I've
Yeah,
seen so many people who comment on your energy and you uplift them and they
yeah.
just, there's like positivity, like
Mhm.
they just feel great just from listening to you. And
Good.
I
I
know
try.
you're touching many lives. You are.
Yeah, and to be honest, like that means everything to me because like for me personally, like it's like I tell people, I am an indigo child. I am a empath. I have empath problems. Like I don't go see movies because I don't want to be the only big jerk back there crying. If you know, and like me personally, like I have I have like a weird thing when it comes to animals like dying on screen. I
Mm.
will flip. You know. So it's like, and it's funny because I'm such a big like. Well, I'm not a big guy now, but I was a really big person. You know. So you see this big dude crying in the back because you know, like I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, Marley and Me.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm terrible when it comes to movies,
Don't
documentaries, and okay, I won't. Okay,
don't see
I'm
it.
tempted to now. I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
it this weekend.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Let me tell you, I was beside myself. Okay. It was just it was just hard. So I'm sitting there and like my wife is looking at me, she's like, are you okay? I was like, I need never to come to a movie again to see this kind of stuff. Because and it's crazy. Like I always tell people, there's three different types of people in the world. Okay.
Yeah,
There's people who are light bringers that don't know that they're light bringers yet, right? There's people who are light bringers but turn away from it. Turn away
yeah,
from it completely because life and circumstances has beat them down to in such a way that they refuse. And then
yeah,
there's people who are just not even understanding or grasping of what that means, right? For me, I was in that middle part for so long. You know, I had been, you know, I lost my family. I was always felt sick. You know, I just was totally unhappy. You know, I just was. You know, I went from being an athlete to being honestly for the most part of my older age, I was an invalid. You know, I was unable to tie my own sneakers, to bend down to get stuff. You know,
mhm,
that's you know, it was just I ended up not being able to do the things that I loved. You know,
yeah,
I loved cooking. Like I have been in restaurants since a child. My parents ran a a restaurant. They owned one. I equate cooking to being close to my mother and my father.
yeah,
You know, and I took that away from myself. And that's what made it hard. That's what made me angry. You know, the
mhm,
fact that, you know, I could change myself. Like why am I allowing this to happen? You know?
yeah,
So then one day I had a older lady come over to me and this happens to me all the time. It's weird and I'm telling you it happens. She came over to me and she's like, young man, you have such a huge light in you. You should let it out. And I looked at this lady, I was like, ma'am, you don't even know me. I was like,
mm,
just leave me alone. But then I sat with it and I sat with it and I sat with it. And I was like, she's right. You know, there's so much that I want to do and how I want to help people. And how am I going to do it if I'm busy being angry, you know? And I got busy being happy. I got busy being, you know, a light bringer, being a person that, you know, don't get me wrong, I still have my days, you know. There's still
yeah,
days like, you know, birthdays, holidays. Holidays are hard, you know, because
yeah,
it's like, you know, that's when you're with your family. Unfortunately, I only have one or two left, you know.
yeah,
But I noticed that I call my friends. I call them friends. I don't call them followers. I'm not comfortable with that
I,
follower thing.
I
You know,
do. I
like
call them my Instagram
yeah.
friends.
So I call them. I say hashtag my avocado fan, right?
Yeah,
So like if they would understand how much they mean to me, you know, it's
mm,
like I found my community, my family, the people who mean the most to me are people who I've never met. I have people that I talk to every day,
That's
okay,
amazing.
every day, and we've never met each other. I get postcards for one of my followers that he sends me postcards and stuff. I I love them. I keep them with me whenever I feel a little bit, weird or whatever. I look at them and be like, I'm grateful, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem, that most people don't understand, that you have to live, right, and step in gratefulness, right? And thankfulness, in gratitude. It's like we live on a blue ball going through space at 1 billion miles an hour, okay? We should be grateful. We're alive. We're here,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
it's like I always tell people, just be grateful for little things, and you'll see how big things will start to come.
Yeah,
Right?
it's true. It's so, so true. And I think that's a whole lesson in itself, is like
Mm.
you said, about self-love and,
Mm-hmm.
self-discipline, and
Mm-hmm.
and it is all about caring
Yeah.
for yourself, and kind of like what you mentioned earlier about a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're kind of made to feel selfish if we, you know, if we
Yeah.
have a purpose in life, or we are like secure with ourselves and secure with our decision. But no,
Yeah.
that's where we should just be. That should be our natural state, is to be so accepting of ourselves, and then
Yeah.
we have more to give. um I just kind of, I don't know if this is even making any sense, but no,
No, of course. Yeah.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
it's true. I think there's so much to learn, especially when like veganism sometimes gets a really
Yes.
negative
Horrible rap.
stigma. And
Yeah.
actually, what is it about? It is about respecting the animals, respecting ourselves, loving ourselves enough to be like, we're not putting this in our body. And then if you take it further with the alkaline diet and, another health foods, that's just loving on yourself that little bit more. Like, I respect myself to not, not poison my body with this or that. And I think we need more of it. When we all feel good, we have more to share. Like you said, the
Exactly. Yeah.
positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's crazy because it's like my I have an older lady that she lives in my building. She's hilarious. Like she definitely makes my day. She's very feisty. Well, so she told me, and she saw one of my shirts. I have a shirt that says "Kill workouts, not our animal friends."
I like that.
So she was like, she said, "Oh, you one of those vegans?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You don't look like a vegan, right?" And I was like, I said, Miss Mary, what does a vegan look like? She was like, you're not from California. You're not a skinny white lady. Not a skinny white person. I was like, I said, listen, I said there are many different types of vegans. Okay,
Mhm.
I said there's vegans that are brown. There's
Mhm.
vegans that are Asian. There's vegan. I said, sweetie, you need to get with the times. And she starts laughing. She's like, I'm too old to get with the times. I was like, absolutely not. I said, yeah. I said, that's
No,
a lie. I said, you know what happens when you stop learning? And she was like, what? I said, you start preparing to die. Are you ready to die? She was like, no way. I was like, go right there. I said, you gotta learn.
exactly.
So you should.
It's true. And
Yeah.
this is why I love doing these Instagram lives, because
Mhm.
even though, like, my wecaneat account, it's me putting out content, but
Yeah.
actually it's not about me. I love talking to people like you and everyone
Thank
else, because
you.
honestly, because actually this is where people can hear directly why you went vegan, and it
Hmm.
can break down the stereotypes that people think.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that's like so important as well.
Hmm.
And I think it's great because it's not just a certain type of people from California. It's
Yeah,
all of us
yeah.
from all over the world
Exactly. Yeah,
that are
we're all over the
connecting
place.
to the same, commonality. So yeah, of going vegan, because it's
Mhm.
kind.
Yeah.
is so kind to ourselves, to the animals, to the planet, and it's important to do it for
It's
our
so
future
weird because,
as well.
because exactly to our future, and that's the real point. Like the way I always approach people who are, let's say, meat eaters and who are staunch, like, no, we've been eating like this since we were blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, okay, okay. I always tell them that's all well and good, but there were so many things that we used to do that are now taboo. Okay,
Yeah,
I said you have to learn, and they're
yeah.
like, oh, whatever. So then I tell them, okay, so let me pose you this question, and they're like, okay, here we go. Here we go. They get ready for it. Like you can see them like, all right,
Mentally
yeah,
preparing.
shaking it out like, yeah, it's good. And I tell them, I say, do you have children? And they go, yes. And I said, do you love your children? And they say, yes. I said, so if you love your child, why is it that you're destroying their planet?
It's true, and this is the thing I always think about, because
Yeah.
we're gonna, okay, basic maths for me. The
Yeah.
ocean provides about 80% of oxygen, and by
Yeah.
2048, which is about 25 years away, not that far,
Yeah.
they're predicting no sea life. So
Yeah.
if there's
No
no
sea
sea
life.
life producing oxygen, where are the people on Earth going to get oxygen from? And I'm sure, like, in our lifetime, we're going to be around, and the future generations, their kids. It's like we want our children to still live on this life, on this earth.
Yeah.
So it's happening pretty quick, and we
No,
need
no.
change now. But
Exactly.
it's okay.
And what you said, right? To piggyback on what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the sea is dead, okay, and we're cutting down the lungs of our planet, which is the Amazon, right?
Yeah.
What's gonna be left, right? Nothing, right? So
Yeah.
so this person that I told that to, they looked at me and she was like, "Oh, how could you say that? How could you say that I don't love my child?" Like I said, because your choices are contrary to what it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay? I said the difference between me and you is that my choices are in line with how I morally would like to live. Okay? I said,
Exactly.
that's the difference. I said, you know what's the difference between a vegan and a carnivore, a person who eats meat? And they're like, what? The choice to do better.
Mm.
That's it. That's it. There's no other choice. There's no other choice. Like it's so simple that it's hard, right?
Yes.
Like I tell people all the time, you love your children. Yes, I do. Okay, so if you love your children, why is it that you're backing big pharma, you're backing big, the big meat industry, and you're backing big agriculture? Agriculture is destroying our planet. So in their kids and maybe them, because it's moving at such a fast rate now, they won't have a planet to live on, right?
Yeah.
And then even if they do have a planet to live on, this is the first generation of children that we're gonna outlive them. We're gonna
Yeah.
outlive our kids. We're gonna outlive our kids. That that to me is unacceptable.
It
Our
is.
Yeah, like
It
our
is.
jobs here, as parents. I mean, I'm not a parent. I'm a doggy dad. But if I did,
Same.
yeah, if I
Same
did
thing.
have exactly, if I did have a child, you know, I would be very worried about their future and their children's future.
True. It's
You
so true.
know,
And one thing that you mentioned you're a nerd. I am a super nerd as well. And like,
yeah,
years ago, I really loved learning about ancient cultures, and I was like researching
exactly.
into. I was researching into ancient Egypt. It was like one of the areas that I was like researching at the time. And sorry, hold on.
Seaspiracy.
Do you have videos or something to research into this category? Yeah, Seaspiracy is a brilliant one.
Yeah,
Um,
Cowspiracy. Cowspiracy is a good one. Any real vegan like documentary, I would say Dominion. Dominion will change your life.
yeah,
Dominion, Earthlings, Earthlings broke me down in such a way that there is no way I would ever even consider ever eating meat again. Like that fundamentally changed my life. You know,
Yeah.
like that one was hard to watch. Hard
Couldn't
to
watch
watch.
it. I didn't watch it. But
I watched it like this.
I can
I was oh my
I
God.
can imagine. In the UK we had this like virtual reality, and it shows you like everywhere you look, it shows you what it looks like in a
Yeah.
factory farm. I lasted maybe 10 seconds and I had to take it off. I mean, at that point I was already vegan, but sometimes it's important to know, and I had to take it off. But yeah, to the
Conspiracy.
yeah, Seaspiracy is brilliant.
Yeah.
Cowspiracy, and there's also a website. It's based in the UK that I look at a lot called um, Viva Charity. DM me anyone that wants, and I'll send it to you. They have
Okay.
a lot of information on there. But let me just share like a couple of facts of the ocean. That's they predict that there's going to be no sea life as we know in by 2048 if we
2014.
continue. Yeah, if we continue overfishing as we are, and they're predicting, I believe, in 40 years' time. If you Google it, it'll come up. But if you in 40 years' time, there's going to be no rainforest if we continue deforestation. And I believe in 60 years' time. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do a post it
Yeah.
and post it all up to get my years
We'll
right. We're
we'll
talking
post it. We'll post it up
post it,
so you
yeah.
guys can see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically we're destroying the ocean within 25 years. The forests are going to go, and
Yeah.
topsoil that grows our food. I want to say I put it on a previous post. I think that's within 60 years.
Yeah.
They're
60
expecting
years.
it.
Yeah. I saw that
No,
post. Yeah. 60 years.
yeah, no, yeah, no topsoil. So we're really going to be changing the planet in our lifetime, and the future generations, like the children, they're going to be witnessing it.
And we just lost, I think it was what, 15 new animals are endangered, completely gone from the planet. Like
Yeah, every
that's
day.
yeah, it's just wrong. It's just horrible. Like I just the way I feel is that like so many people care about things, right, that are so close to veganism that all they have to do is take that further step to make the decision to not to put it on their plate, make the decision with their money, okay?
Yeah,
Because that's the one thing I could say about oh yeah, blackfish is good too. It is less
thanks for that.
yeah, less traumatic though, because it is. But I just feel like it's now that the corporations are starting to understand, and the reason why they're starting to understand is because we got smart. Vegans got smart. Vegans started understanding that the way to control and to exact real change is by our dollars.
It's so
Our dollars.
true.
If
It's
it
so true.
doesn't make if it doesn't make dollars, then it doesn't make sense. So, like, imagine we have McDonald's, one of the largest abuser of animals, abuser of people. Okay, because let's not mince words here. Okay, that McPlant, yes, okay, it's a great addition. You know, I get it. Me personally, I would never buy it. Why? One, because I'm alkaline. I
Yeah,
can't really eat anything there. But two, I also feel that it's um it's a way to grab. It's a cash grab. They're cash grabbing so that they can do more horrible things to animals. Like in good conscience, as a vegan, I cannot. I cannot.
I understand that, and I
Yeah.
respect that. And I've
Hmm.
talked to people who are like, I will never go and eat in KFC, Burger King, McDonald's, because even if they bring out a vegan version,
Yeah.
because the money is still going back into, their business, which
Yeah.
still funds animal cruelty. I totally understand that and respect that. like from my point of view, sometimes I look at things like in an optimistic way. I think that that's change happening for them to be, putting, the kind of having a beef burger on their menu and chicken, for them to think, okay, let's have a vegan option. I think that is for them to change their mindset and have a menu and take something off. For me, that's where I see change happening. And I think that's down to us. Yeah. I'm not saying we need to buy it or not, but I think that's down to us really helping them shift their mindset and help them change.
No, like I totally get that. You see, with that part, I'm on board. Like I understand that it's good to have transitional foods, especially, cheap ones.
Yeah.
But what also, this is my thing, right? I'm a vegan, but I'm also very, very, very concerned with health.
Yeah.
And it's like I always tell people, how can you, like I've had some vegans, oh, you're too heavy on the health part, like this, that, and the third, like, you don't talk so much about the animals. Listen, if you've ever seen any of my lives, animals are number one to me. Okay. Now, number two, underserved people. Okay. Number three, health. Because how are you going to make change? How are you going to be advocating for animals, advocating for the underserved, advocating for the planet if you're dead?
Yeah.
Because you ate like crap and now you're dead. Like, listen, I've seen plenty of vegans that are unhealthy. I've seen it. I've coached them. I've taught them how to maintain their health. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, there's very, 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 very many things that you can eat as a vegan that is detrimental to your life. Seriously, like it may not be detrimental right now, but down the line, right? So what I say is this: like with the McPlant burger in the States, it's not going to be vegan. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, in the UK, absolutely. Yeah, like they put money into having their own places to cook it, how to serve it the right way. But in the US, they're not putting any money into that.
Okay.
So as a US vegan, I say don't do it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Even the Impossible Burger at Burger King over here, I'm not gonna lie, when it first came out, I was excited. I was excited because I was like, you know what? Finally, the hood is going to be able to understand what it is to have a vegan burger. But then when I went in there with my wife, because she still eats transitionally, so I just wanted to see how they prep it.
Yeah.
They prepped it in the same area they were prepping meat.
Same here, actually. The chicken, the vegan chicken is cooked separately, but so they call the vegan, well, they call the vegan, they call it plant-based. They call it plant-based, where they cook but in the same griddle as they cook meat, but the vegan chicken's cooked separately. So they do call it vegan and they call it plant-based, but it's like, I just don't understand why they just don't have their own space.
It's money.
It is,
Like as a person who used to run like restaurants and stuff, that's what it is. You know how much money they would have to put in to have a lone space for just vegan things? Like even their salads and stuff like that. I wouldn't touch, because more than likely they wash it in the same bases that they're washing the chickens.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, like listen, it's just I just tell people, understand your food. Understand where it is that you're getting it. Like me, okay. I eat predominantly organic, right? I eat no hybrid foods. So like when I say hybrid foods, everybody does this way. Huh? What does that mean? Okay. So hybrid foods, right? Let's say the banana that everybody eats now, right? I won't eat a regular banana, right? Even if it's organic. Why? Because it's been modified. It's been
Yeah.
modified. So like when they say, "Oh, no GMOs," that's me. Definitely, I should get a shirt. No GMOs, thank you. You know, so it's like
Yeah.
I'll eat berries. I'll eat like instead of a regular banana, they have um uh an ancient banana, which is called the burro banana. It's a little chubby one,
The little one,
right?
they're so tasty. I
They
love
are,
them.
right? They're so good.
Uh,
I make a porridge with it that's to die for. But so it's like I'll eat dates and stuff like that. I'll eat only fruits with seeds.
yeah.
Uh, no seedless fruits because if there's no seed, there's no life, right?
But let me ask you that question. I
Yeah,
know we're in two different parts of the world, so I have
yeah,
looked at the Alkaline diet, and I know it is like um, it's specific ingredients or food that we can eat. But
yeah,
over here, it's really difficult to
yeah. I
find
understand. Yeah,
fruits with seeds in it and
yeah.
find some of the foods that's on this list, like the
Hmm.
bananas that I come across, the little, I call them little baby ones. I
Yeah, baby
actually,
bananas. Yeah,
yeah, baby bananas, I had that in Cuba. I didn't eat that in England. So it's
yeah.
like, how do you, I'm kind of, I've been to New York before, so I'm
Hmm.
assuming we have the same sort of grocery stores.
Yeah.
How do you, is it easily accessible for you to find like fruits with seeds in and
No,
alkaline? Okay,
no.
so what do you do about that?
Um, the issue now in the States and also in the UK now that I see is they're starting to push GMO fruits
Yeah,
rather than doing you know like because and this is the thing that I find weird. How can you call a fruit that has no seeds and has been modified? How can you call it organic?
it's true.
Right? It's like it doesn't. It's a oxymoron. It makes no
I
sense to
don't
me.
understand it. We have
Yeah.
organic grapes, seedless organic
Hmm.
grapes, and I don't understand
Yeah.
why don't they have seeds in them? I just don't understand it. So for me, I probably never followed the alkaline diet as
Yeah.
much because
Yeah.
I haven't really found the foods like
No, but
around.
and that's the thing. Like this is my workaround, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Cool.
luckily for me, for my specific area, there are a lot of mom and pop shops that
Oh,
have
brilliant.
yeah that have fruit that have seeds, and a lot of it comes from Jamaica,
Yeah.
comes from out of the states because unfortunately it's getting to a point where finding a seeded watermelon or seeded grapes in a regular like market,
Yeah.
you'll never find it. You just won't. Okay. So this is what I say. If you have a Caribbean market, I know in the
Hmm.
UK there's a lot of
We
Caribbean
do.
people. And
Yeah.
yeah,
We do. So I'm gonna go to. I'm
yeah,
gonna check it
yes,
out.
yeah, absolutely. Go into the Caribbean markets. Go
Yeah.
into the Indian stands that they have. Like I get the majority of my stuff. I get either from Mr. Jones, a kind Jamaican fellow who lives down the block from me. He gets uh, jelly coconuts, the young coconuts.
Yeah.
He gets my bananas because if I don't have my bananas, we're gonna have a problem. And I mean, but you have to step out of the norm, unfortunately,
Yeah. And
and it's
also
like,
the
yeah,
chain of grocery stores.
hmm
It's true because I actually go to like my local store for plantain, but the
yeah.
rest of the fruit I get from the grocery store.
Oh,
And it's right. It's
Asian
just
markets, yeah, Asian
thank
markets,
you.
yeah.
No, that's brilliant. And I'm so lucky. I'm in London, so there's like so many local stores
Hmm.
and different cultures from all
Yeah.
over the world. So I can shop there. Oh, someone just sent a
Thank
comment. And
you. I appreciate
thank you
it.
so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. But yeah, no, you've inspired me. Have you ever thought about creating a book for your life and an alkaline book and a recipe book? When you're talking, all I'm
Yeah.
thinking of books.
Yeah, he needs
Content.
books. Yeah.
Books. Yeah, to release the content because you have so much knowledge and wisdom and life experience as well that can, you know, people would
I actually
really
am thinking about doing self-publishing through Amazon.
yeah.
I'm an Amazon influencer. Whoa. Uh, so it's like, but even them, I have some issues with. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But
We'll do another live.
we're
We
gonna
have
do
to.
another live just on them personally. But like I just feel like um, as of right now, what I'm trying to do is just get my coaching um, out, and also like I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I like the whole inspirational speaker thing. Like that's just something that I've always thought that I would be good at, and
You are good at it and you are
thank you.
inspirational. And I'm not the only one saying this because I can read the comments as well. So many people have commented that you're
But
inspiring and they're inspired.
thank you.
And you know, thank you to the last couple of people who've just commented
Yeah.
through as well that they would buy everything and they're going to research.
All
So
right.
for sure, we want to hear what you have to say because you've got wisdom
That's
and knowledge and
that's
inspiration.
my guy right there. Those two last people holding my own and Miss Canada. I
Oh, brilliant.
those are my people. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would love to do all that. I just honestly, it's just right now, it's just time, having the time. Like, I've been going through like I help coach some of the disabled people in around my area. I work out with them, teach them how to do things. Um, I think that's the thing that I want to work on first, which is
Yeah,
a whole set of like workout videos for people who are unfortunately either bedridden or can't really stand, because that's how I started my journey. I started in
yeah.
my bed, and that's exactly how I started,
Can we do a whole live on that topic
Sure,
again?
absolutely. Yeah,
This is something that I'd love to like go into you know, into so much detail and just
yeah,
learn how you're going to do it and why it's
mhm,
needed.
yeah,
I've seen so many like challenges and it really upsets me when people
yeah,
you know, just like you said there like earlier about, you know, in a wheelchair and not having access
yeah,
and what you're doing is so uplifting for people's spirits because you know everyone has abilities
yeah.
and it's for you, you know, with what you're doing it helps people kind of either remember that or ignite with that and or start using that. That's amazing.
I just I like to tell people if a person who has uh, spinal cord injury and
Mm,
a whole multitude of things that they had to fix. Like if I can go off the list of the things that I had wrong before becoming alkaline vegan, and
yeah,
now, like I mean, I was type 2 diabetic. I had uh, I had NASH, which is a liver disease. Is fatty liver, covers the
yeah,
liver, stops it from working correctly. I had a kidney that was the size of a walnut because it was starting to die. I had the pulmonary embolism left me with when I came out of the hospital, I had probably 35% of my lung capacity. Okay.
yeah. Wow.
Um, I have, of course, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I have, I get, I used to, and it's funny. I used to get these things that I used to call them like seizures, but it was because
Mm,
my nerves were so they were so damaged that I used to seize up, and then I would have to be that way for like it was almost like epilepsy. It felt like an epileptic seizure. Um, but after going vegan and going alkaline, uh, I went to go to the doctor like last week. I got my bloods back. I'm no longer type 2 diabetic. I haven't been for like
amazing.
7 years already. My
Excellent.
Thank you. My liver function is that of a 25-year-old. Everything was perfect. Everything. The only thing that was a little sketchy is my what was it? Oh, my blood pressure, but it was because I get so nervous going to the doctors now. I have a
Yeah.
phobia, and it's weird, but I do. Um, so she was like, "Yeah, it's just elevated because you're nervous. Stop being nervous. Everything's
Yeah.
fine." I'm like, "Okay."
It makes sense with everything that you've been through with your family and your own journey to have that.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm I can understand. I'm very wary of taking medicines, and I only
yeah,
have
yeah.
to do it if I have to. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's normal, I
No,
think.
I mean, if you have to, you have to. Like, I mean, listen, when I first went on this journey, I was taking upwards of 18 pills a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's uh, it took up half my day. Okay.
Yeah, I struggle when they say take three tablets no, one tablet 3 times a day. I'm like,
Yeah,
how am I meant to remember the middle of the day and night?
telling
I'm
you.
tired. Yeah, it's 18.
Yeah, I was on like anti-seizure medicine, which is horrible in itself because it takes away who you are. You know,
Yeah.
I was on pain medication. I was on, of course, statins for my cholesterol. And statins are just a horrible medicine. Like,
Yeah.
if you can control your cholesterol with food, please do so. Do not allow them to give you statins. Statins will destroy your quality of life. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I was just on everything. Like I felt like I was just on everything. I was like, my whole day was just popping pills. And yesterday I sat down and I was like, I literally take vitamins.
Yeah.
That's it. I am completely off all my meds. I'm I think what I take is what is it I take? Let me look. I'm looking at it right now. I take a B12. I take some magic mushroom lion's mane for focus,
Yeah.
and that's about it. I mean, oh, and black seed, for cancer and stuff. But
Mhm.
other than that, I mean, I drink a lot of tea. That's it. I mean, I just tell people if you truly want to live a life where you don't have to worry about just mindless things, right? And what I mean by mindless things is things that people worry about every day that they don't have to worry about if they just choose a different way of eating, okay?
Yeah.
You know? And it's just like, it's so crazy. Like, people people are so ingrained in the way they were raised to eat that they
Hmm.
they don't understand that if they just change it, things will be different for them. You know?
You've you just got to give yourself a chance. And there was a lady that I came across on YouTube, and she said
Hmm.
something that always sticks in my head. She says
Yeah.
she wants to see how it works out if she doesn't give up on herself. And sometimes it's just that. It's just
Yeah.
start with 30 days, let me start
Hmm.
at 60 days, and then just
Yeah.
give yourself a chance to
That
feel. And
that's
we just had a
literally how I started. Yeah.
yeah, we just had a
Right.
comment coming in about he believes that alkaline is pure healing, and I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
alkaline, but I truly believe in that way. And there's certain things that I've incorporated in my life, but you
Hmm.
are a living example of
There's
everything. Yeah,
one little story that I want to tell you
please.
just before. Yeah, right. Okay, so the man that I follow his teachings, his name is Dr. Sabi,
Yeah,
right? Dr. Sabi in 1987 put out a full page ad in the New York Post, right? And he wrote, and this is what he wrote, mind you, okay? He said, I, Dr. Sabi, have absolutely healed people with cancer, people with AIDS, people with syphilis, and
hmm
he was just railing off all the major diseases that are killing people right now,
yeah,
okay? The New York sent a cease and desist letter to him stating that he's making false statements, that
Yeah.
he will be held accountable. And he was like, yeah, yeah. He continued to do the full page ad, right? 1989, they arrested him,
Hmm.
right? New York arrested him, put him in jail. He told the judge, Judge, if I can bring you proof that I've done this, is everything going to
Yeah.
be okay? The judge said, yeah, you bring me 4 people that with their medical records and everything, right? This man put out a call to the people he's helped. 97 people came
Yeah.
with their medical records, with their doctor's affidavits. Dr. Sabi is the only, only holistic doctor in New York State that has the ability to practice as a doctor because
Wow.
he proved that he can heal
Yeah.
people. You know, so it's like if you don't believe anything else that I've told you, just like you said, don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Understand that the best doctor in this world, absolutely, is nature. Nature has been healing everything that we take. All the medicines that we take are derivative from plants. So why are we going and destroying everything that make them enjoyable to our palate by putting cornstarch and putting all this stuff and making them into little pills when you can have them? You
Yeah.
can, you can brew a tea. You can eat a soursop. Soursop is right now being studied by a bunch of doctors because it's the only fruit that they've seen that is comparable to chemotherapy
Amazing. We
without the cellular damage. So
Wow. And
like
I believe that Mother Nature we have so much medicinal foods in
hmm
these natural, plants on this earth.
hmm yeah,
And that's why we need to protect the earth and help ourselves as
okay,
well. I would definitely say I'm super guilty with eating vegan junk foods, but I do believe that we have to fuel our body, and it is
yes,
about being conscious with
hmm
eating recognizable ingredients, like you said,
yeah,
like
exactly,
chickpeas. We're not
yeah.
reading a label and trying to work out what does this scientific word mean in there. I don't understand it, but it
That's
is.
like the bane of my existence. Okay, bane of my existence is going into a shop, right?
Yeah.
Seeing something that looks so good and so like simple. Then I read the ingredients list, and the ingredients list are like 90 things, and like 75 of them I can't even pronounce.
I can't. And I'm like,
Like,
what is this?
why?
I didn't
Yeah,
do good at science, actually. So it's like, well, and so that's what it looks like to me. It just looks like scientific ingredients. And I'm like,
yeah,
why isn't this recognizable ingredient? Just like,
absolutely. Yeah, I
bananas.
agree. Yeah,
It's crazy, and I do. I've seen it was Dr. Sebi's work that made me be aware of sea moss and
yeah,
start taking that into my life, and then that follows on. You start discovering more foods,
yeah,
but I do believe, like the gentleman said earlier, and like you're a testimony too. It's
mhm,
just about healing our bodies,
yeah.
and but what a great story to share, because his
Thank you.
legacy lives on through
To
everyone,
his
like
family.
yourself, through his family, and then through people that he's touched, like yourself, who
Yeah,
is is following his advice to this day.
yeah,
So it's and then not only it doesn't stop with you, because you're sharing it with others, and you've helped change that lady's life around that you were talking about earlier.
I hope she's
So
good. That
I
that
do.
was like, I don't know. Like I
So
just feel there's certain people in this world that they're meant to to change not only the world but themselves, right?
mm,
And I believe that if you can change yourself, then everything else is gonna start changing too. It's like when I first started to change, like I felt a shift. I don't know if you understand what it is that I'm trying to say, but I felt like a shift in um, the way my world was, right?
Yeah.
Like my friendships became better, deeper. My relationship with my wife became amazing. Um, my connection me, with
Yeah.
myself and other people just changed so completely and drastic, you know, like I was the first I was the first person to be um very like off to the side. I didn't really like to conversate too much with people. And now if I'm yes, 'cause I love Target. Target, if you're around, please hashtag let me be an influencer for you. Because I live in Target. I'm just saying I live in Target. So so like I'll be in Target and I'll see somebody go into like their little, you know, well, I can't say little vegan section because it's huge now. Go into the vegan section, and I just my eyes meet them and they look up and it's like we're friends now. You and
We're
I are
friends. Yeah,
like,
it's that
hi,
quick.
how are you? Yeah, like you're my best friend now. You and I are friends, and it's because you know like you see people and you like, wow, you know, people are starting to really understand and wake up. And that's the
Mhm.
key. Once you're awake, it's hard to close your eyes again.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like people like where all this, you know, this COVID thing, you know, it's like it brought to the forefront how fast people can get sick and how quick they can no longer be, you know, like during when COVID first hit, I lost 12 people.
I'm so
I
sorry to
lost
hear that.
I lost two uncles that were first, you know, that were frontline, you know,
Hmm.
responders, and then I lost friends, young people. These are young people, you know,
Hmm.
32, 35, 42,
Yeah.
you know, and it was just like all I kept saying was I knew that there was a reason that I became alkaline. I knew it. I knew, like, I always feel like there's a reason for everything for me. You know, like, I got hurt to slow me down, to show me that I need to be important to myself. Not work, not anything financial, me, the person that I am, me, right?
Yeah.
So it slowed me down. I started taking my health, you know, I took a hold of what I can control. And that's the thing. People got to understand you have to take hold of things that you can control. You can't control that COVID is running rapid. You can't control that people are angry in the streets. You can control how you feel day to day.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. That shows you that you're in control of your universe, right? I know it sounds like far out, but it's the truth.
No,
Like,
it's not, and sometimes that's all you control. And actually, I think that can lead to why you can feel good in amongst the madness that's
yeah,
happening. And
exactly.
like what the previous conversation we had with the lady,
Hmm.
why are you feeling good? And it's
Yeah,
because you're feeling good within. You're taking care of what you need to do in the
yeah.
day, and what you're putting out there in the world. It can really make it can really make a difference.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just feel like if more people would understand that you can't change the world in one day.
Yeah.
You can't change your perspective on life in one day either. All of this is a journey. I always put the same hashtags, and I know it's weird, but it's true. I put hashtag um, self love journey, right? Hashtag um, spiritual awakening, right? Because the minute this was clear, this and this
Yeah.
became crystal, crystal clear. Like the minute you start understanding that we were put here, right, to do great things. We're all giants. We all can be giants. Now, if you live up to that, that's the real key. You know,
Hmm.
like you can go, hi, how are you? Nice to nice to see you. If you decide to go and be a person who goes and like me when I was a professional cook, I used to go and through the holidays I would go and cook for the less fortunate. I would I would do it no money involved, nothing. I would just show up and be like, hey, where do you need me? You know?
Yeah.
And that to me was so important to understand what life is really about, right? So, like with the animals, this is what I tell people. I say, if you truly love animals, right? Not dogs, not cats, talking about animals, right? Whenever you sit down or if you're in the market, make the decision with your heart, not with your head. Because your
Yeah.
head is all, you go into, whenever, I don't know about you, but when I go into a market, I go into like, I know what I grab already. So I just grabbing, no mind. There's no mind in it, you know? But when you start to put mind into what it is that you're grabbing, right? Which most vegans do because we have to
Yeah.
read everything, make sure that we're not doing something crazy, you know? It starts to work on other processes that you don't think that it does,
Yeah.
um like mind you, I had a belt that was given to me by my father. And it was my father was an indigenous Indian from Puerto Rico.
Oh,
His whole family.
wow. Amazing.
Thank you, hey people. Ah!
No, I love learning about indigenous
Yeah.
cultures and people in their lands. So that's amazing that you've got your direct
Yeah. Well,
connection.
the sad part is that most Puerto Ricans don't even understand. Hey, how are you? Don't even understand where it is that they come from, right?
Mm,
Um, Puerto Ricans are indigenous Indians and the Spaniards.
yeah.
We're an amalgamation of all that, and the Arawak people of Colombia, Brazil, they still exist. So that's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. Tainos have been completely wiped out. All we have are people who are descendant from, but as far as the language still exists thanks to people who actually took the
Yeah.
time, yeah, took the time and stuff. But so anyway, I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. So my father gave me a belt made of unfortunately of a cow,
Yeah.
of leather. Uh, so for the longest time, like when I first became vegan, I was like, I'll put it in the closet, but I won't wear it or anything. So like maybe a year ago, I decided to give it to Goodwill, right? So, my wife was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine," right? When I took it to Goodwill and I said, I looked at the belt and I said, thank you for giving your life to help a father share something with his son. But
Yeah.
now his son is done with it and doesn't want to do any more harm to
Mm,
you. So now I give you on to someone else so that they can love you and continue the process. So your legacy would not be in vain, right?
yeah.
So the lady that took it in, she's looking at me and she's hearing this and she's like, yo, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's weird, bro. Like she said, but that's weird, bro. And I looked at her and I said, sorry, I'm vegan. That's how we get down. And I just walked away. I was just like, hey, listen, it's like I can't judge people because the same way people judge me every day, I try not to
Yeah.
because like, and that's where that negative connotation to veganism comes from. They feel like, oh, why are you judging me? Well, I'm judging you because you're kind of making a horrible decision for the planet, for the life of that poor animal, and also for yourself. So that's three strikes. So do you want to be out or do you want to keep swinging?
Yeah.
Like keep swinging. So I always tell them, listen, please just do me a favor. Take the time and sit down and watch one of these documentaries. Like I'll tell you honestly, there was one Gary Aronofsky, I think his name is. That
I'm not familiar, but maybe if
yeah.
I saw his face, I'll
Well,
know.
He's a bald gentleman with glasses. He if you get a chance, go on YouTube. It's called the greatest vegan speech ever. Right?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. So he goes and he's talking to a group of students,
Hmm.
and the way he posed the veganism question and the carnivore issue was so perfect. And the reason why I say it's so perfect is because the way he put it was, when you decide to eat meat, right? You're consciously making an effort to subvert the humanity in you.
Yeah.
Like, how can you call yourself a human? Or like everybody always throws around this word, oh, humanity,
Mhm.
humanity. All right. The first thing in that word is humane, right? Now, to most carnivores and most people who eat meat, humane means, oh, they kill the animal without giving it any, without causing it any pain, right?
Which I don't understand.
Which is complete BS
I just don't.
because if you're,
No one wants to die, and who wants
yeah,
to? Who wants to even? If they could talk, they can't. They can't say, "Oh, it's okay because it's humane."
yeah,
It's not. There's no such thing as humane
yeah,
death,
yeah.
and
No,
killing well, not death, sorry, killing someone. Death, it can be supernatural. I mean,
yeah.
natural, but yeah, there's no way to. Sorry,
I
carry on.
just no. I just feel like no. I'm with you.
Okay.
It boggles my mind. Like I've always been the type that I've like, whenever I hear the word humane, it makes me cringe. Because it's like there's no such thing as a humane captivity, uh,
Right.
hu- humane slaughter.
Mhm.
Okay, you can't call it humane if it still has the connotation of death and slaughter. It
Yeah.
still has that. It's still there.
Yeah.
Now, to be truly human, right? To be truly human is to understand that all things are connected, right? And we all need to be on this planet together,
Hmm.
together. Okay, we weren't put here, right? Because and even to my Bible people, right? I love you guys. I was a huge Bible person myself back in the day. I still kind of am. I still love the Lord, of course.
Yeah.
But even in the Bible, it says, nowhere in the Bible does it say that these animals were put here for us
Hmm.
to to destroy, right? It says in what is it? And it's coming to me. I'm sorry. In Genesis, it says, "I give you these animals, your brethren, to be stewards
Hmm.
for them on the land." If you go by directly what that meaning is, stewards mean to be caretakers, not to hold dominion over animals.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like people tend to have this weird thing where, oh, but it's in scripture. No, it's not. It's not. And even if it was, okay, even if it was, whenever you eat an animal, right? When you start to know, when you like it's different when you don't know, like when
Yeah.
you're just ignorant to it. I get it. I understand. You don't understand. You never, you were never told. But when you actually sat down and see a a film or a documentary, and you see what happens to these animals, and you see, a pig running for his life, and a mother cow screaming for their child that they took away from them. How could you, in good conscience, and call yourself a human? That's not human. That's not human. If they were to do that to a human, that would be, oh my God, we have to do something to stop this. We have to, the US 2 days ago is the first country in the world, right, to put sanctions on, well, they're doing it to Cuba, but it's funny how it's good for Cuba, but it'll never work in the U.S., right?
Mhm.
Cuba, a huge drug dealer, Pablo Escobar, yeah. Pablo Escobar brought a whole bunch of hippos to Cuba. Now, they're not indigenous animals to Cuba, so they're destroying everything. These animals, I know these animals don't play. They will.
Hippos are, I think that, like, I saw hippos when I went to South Africa, and they, like, yeah, they are
Yeah,
powerful
yeah.
animals.
They would definitely take over whatever spot
Yeah,
you decide to put them in.
yeah,
It's theirs now. It belongs to them. So
yeah,
the U.S. is holding Cuba accountable. Why? Because they're making the hippos, right? The U.S. is saying that hippos are like humans. Okay, that sets a huge precedent. Okay, because now we could make a case for sheep. We could make a case for every animal.
everything,
Every
absolutely
animal.
everything.
So if Cuba can't humanely kill or slaughter these hippos because they're
Yeah,
basically like humans, so why is it okay for the United States of America to kill billions of sentient, beautiful beings that want to live? Okay, and then you always get the same pushback. Oh, if we don't eat them, they'll overrun us. No, the reason why there's so many of them is because we are consuming them at a rate that they cannot. We
yeah,
can't hope to sustain that. We can't. You know.
yeah. They're brought to existence
Yeah.
just for butchering to be killed,
Yeah.
and
Like
it really it's heartbreaking. The more I learn, the more,
all animals. Mhm. All
all
animals.
animals,
Yeah.
all animals are sentient beings, do right. But just on that note about Cuba, I was reading something that might be interesting for the lady who was messaging earlier. Another thing to kind of look into, which I find really interesting, is like rewilding. And there's a
Mhm.
actual word. I can't think of it right now, but I will. But it's basically getting the land back to how it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
when
Before. Yeah.
indigenous people lived
Mhm.
there, because we need to have the natural indigenous plants,
Mhm.
and then the animals who live there, and then that part of the world can kind of flourish with
Yeah.
nature as nature intended, not what we're doing, where we're trying to control nature by,
Yeah.
bringing animals.
Manipulating it. Yeah. Manipulating it.
That's a key word. Bringing animals to land that, um, it's not, it's nature, and yeah, it's like what we're doing to even the Amazon, just chopping it down. They don't
Yeah.
even know what's in there. They've only discovered about
No.
2%, and they don't know who they're destroying, what plants they're
Mhm.
destroying, and what animals live there, and what people.
Imagine how many. Imagine how many cures for ailments have been destroyed due to greed. It's just
It's
greed.
true. My numbers are going to be off. but, I have, like, literally, I'm super nerd, like, I'll write it all down. But I
Yeah.
think there's only like a tiny percentage of
Mhm.
what they've discovered in the Amazon that we use. I think for like 25% of the
Yeah.
medicine. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's almost like, actually, what are they destroying that we don't know? And I'm not just suggesting that it's for our benefit, but just
No,
in
right.
general.
In
We've
general
had
benefit. Yeah.
We've had a couple of comments, and a lovely lady said earlier that I caught. She said that your story and your journey is just so heartwarming.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
yeah, I think, yeah, and then the information you've been providing as well, like, just during this, has been really useful. And this lovely lady is just saying, thank you for speaking of importance. Thank you too for
Thank you for
for
being
joining,
here.
for being here, and everyone. But I wanna just kind of ask you one final question from me, but we can chat.
Sure.
I really enjoyed it. So if someone is thinking about going vegan, or at the beginning stages of the transition, what advice would you give them?
Okay, so what I would suggest is eat exactly the way you eat on a regular day, right? Because now I could say this. I could say this with the utmost, like, I know that they're gonna have it. There will be a vegan, whatever it is you want to eat. Just try it.
Alternative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And like, as a person who doesn't really partake in that, but still, I see the importance of it. Okay, because it's like, if it wasn't for that, like, listen, I still am. I still love pizza. I make my own, but I love pizza. And like, when I first wanted to go vegan, I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna have pizza. I can't have cheese. When I first started going like really strict vegan, at that point, what we had Daya was pretty bad back then.
Really, I like diet. I
And
like
yeah, well,
cheesecake.
now Daya, now that
Yeah,
the cheese
you've
strips and
improved
the
it.
cheesecake. Oh my God! Every time I smell the Daya cheesecake, like, I'm like, oh my God, and then I go, no,
No,
no.
honestly, it's not available in the UK, but I think at one point they tried to launch in the UK, and I was like, please
Yes,
do
please.
it. I'll I'll sell your product for you. Just bring it to the UK. But yeah, but it's true. You're talking about substitutes, really, vegan
Exactly. Yeah.
alternatives.
You could find like, okay, like, I can just see it as from the Hispanic,
Yeah, of course. Please
part
shift.
of it. So like, if you're Puerto Rican, Dominican, South American, whatever, rice, beans are vegan.
Yes.
People, people, like, stop it. Stop making everything. You know what it is, that people have this thing where they get paralysis through analysis. They
Mm,
want to be perfect vegans in the beginning. Listen, it's okay to mess up. Okay,
yeah.
as long as your intention is to be as vegan as humanly possible,
Yeah.
then you are on the right track. For God's sakes, just continue. Don't give up. Don't be an ex-vegan. Okay, no ex-vegans here. Okay, no ex-vegans here. All right, like, I always tell people, if you can call yourself an ex-vegan, then you were never vegan in the first place.
Yeah.
You were something else. It's like, I have this way of helping people when they want to first become vegan. What I tell them is, pick 3 meals that you love to eat every day, right? Every week. Those 3 meals you make vegan, or I'll make it for you. You tell me what
Yeah.
it is, and I'll write it up, and I'll send it to you if you're far, right?
Mm,
9 out of 10 people that I've done that to have either become, plant-based, or have become what I like to call the cool kids, right? The kids that get to try everything. So they
yeah.
go and they'll eat all the transitional foods and come back and describe it to me, and then I ask them how it is they feel, how they feel after, right? And I always get the same two messages. First one is, I feel I feel amazing, right? And the second one is, I feel I feel right,
Mm,
right? And I say the reason why you feel right is because you know that nothing had to come to harm to put that food on your plate.
it's
And
true.
that's the major key. If you take anything out of this talk from me, know three things. Inspire, right? Inspiration can come from anyone,
Mm,
as long as you understand that what it took for that person to inspire you. Okay? Now, for me, it took a lot of pain, it took a lot of frustration, and it took a lot of self-reflection,
yeah.
right? Two, do the best you can for as long as you can, and trust me, it'll work, right? So everybody said, "Oh, but Josh, what if I mess up?" Everybody messes up.
Yeah.
Everybody, everybody. It happens.
Hmm.
Just me the other day. I try to make all my food.
Yeah.
I just try, because I can understand. I can understand if somebody slips up and puts something crazy or whatever. Thank you. I love that.
Yeah, what a lovely message, honestly.
So it's like I messed up and I ate something with cane sugar, which I didn't know was in there. I immediately felt it. Like if you
Yeah,
know, it's like this is what people don't understand now. There's certain things that the reason why I don't eat it is because it's either really good medicine, right?
yeah,
Or it's really bad for you. And not like bad for you like it will make you sick instant, but for your brain. The way
definitely.
yeah, the way your brain takes in cane sugar is just like dope, just like a drug, you know?
That's an addiction in
Yeah.
itself, sugar.
Yeah. Exactly. So that right there put me in a mindset where I had to detox. That's why I did the 3-day fruit fast where
Yeah,
I try to get back into alkaline as quick as possible. And then the third thing for me is to be daring. Be daring, you
yeah.
know. Try something new. Try something you've never something out of your comfort zone. You know how long it took me to actually try seitan?
What did you think?
Me personally, when I used to eat it, I thought it was amazing.
Hmm.
Like there was so many things you can do with seitan, and for all my soy people out there, hey, have fun with soy too. Soy is another thing. But for me, like just taking the chance on trying a different life is huge. Like
Yeah.
people always say, "Oh, your journey is so inspiring." Yeah, but a start of a journey takes one step. You have
Hmm.
to make that step. If you don't take that step, then you'll never go on the journey. And life is
Yeah.
an adventure. Life is
It
a,
is.
true.
It's a brand new beginning as well with when you're exploring the foods and like
Mm-hmm.
the lady said earlier, right back at you with the connecting with all amazing people
Yeah.
on here. If I didn't go vegan, if I didn't do my Instagram, if I didn't come across you
Mm-hmm.
amazing people, we wouldn't be having these conversations. So you just
Exactly.
don't know how much joy it can bring you, and even connecting with the animals in an even in
Yeah.
another way as well, because there isn't that disconnect or guilt. You just know everything you're choosing is not hurting anyone, and it's just
Exactly.
respect, which can bring happiness too. Um, and like the lady just said there, she said that she's helped, influence people or encourage people to go vegan as well. That's got
Mm-hmm.
to bring joy to yourself
Yeah.
as
That
well. Brand new
that's one of those.
beginning.
That's one of those things that actually it's like I always tell people it's like the seasoning on top of the the quinoa. You just you're helping people. You're leading people to a better life. And you're like I always feel like if I help somebody become vegan, right? That legacy of of help and gratitude, they will send it to somebody else, and they will
Yeah,
send it to somebody else. So it's like a web of things. And it's like people have this thing where they feel like they're not connected. We're all connected,
hmm,
and until we start realizing that, we're always gonna have the same problems we have now. You know,
yeah,
or the race issues, or the murdering and killing for things that don't even belong to us. You know, it's like stop. We're all here. We're all on this beautiful blue planet that we really must understand. We have one planet. There's no planet B. It's
yeah,
this one. Like we have to like I like to call myself a positivity and kindness influencer.
yeah.
That's it. Now, my choice is to eat no animals because that's the right choice. No, you know what? That's the right choice. I'm
That
not
is
gonna
the right
say for
choice.
me.
It is full stop. That's the whole sentence. That is.
That's the right choice. So it's like you people people are weird, right? Because when you call them out on their stuff, they tend to recoil, right? So I've always been one of these people who believe you get more bees to the party with honey than you do with shit. Okay? So like you have, there's a space for all types of vegan, right?
Yeah.
You have the you know the the vegan who is like, no, you eat animals, you're a horrible person, you should, like,
Mm.
I wish you weren't here in this world, like, and there's a space for that,
And they help encourage people. I've seen,
of course.
some of the biggest, like,
Yeah.
um, if we want to call them like influencers. I know some people
Yeah.
don't like that word, but who have actually
Yeah.
influenced people. And then
Exactly.
I, we've just had a comment come through, and I love this because it's so relevant. It's using our strength to promote kindness in our own way, and it's true.
Beautiful.
It's
Exactly.
everyone doing it the way they feel is right to them, and
Exactly. Like, I knew I could never be a one of these like militant vegans. Like, I don't have the heart for it. Like, I really don't. Like, and I've always been the type that I get more things done with kindness than I do with, hey, pointing your finger, like, I
yeah.
get that. There's a space for that. We need those. Those are what I call our vegan warriors, our frontliners, right?
They encourage and influence some people, but not everyone will connect to it. I think people will
Exactly.
resonate when you're just true to yourself, and they're
hmm
being true to themselves,
hmm
So, but by you being you, people
Yeah.
gravitate to you, and
That's me. I'm like, all right.
that's me
We,
too sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes I have to, like, I think,
yeah.
do I have to
Pull it
kind of
back, pull it back.
pull it back, and then I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm like borderline both, I'll be honest. I'm borderline, but not against like other people, because I once was not vegan and I was
hmm
so disconnected. To me, it's crazy. It's so unreal. But yeah, so I think, like, well, you said if I could go vegan, anyone could go
hmm
vegan. So I do remember that. I
Yeah.
get probably more angry about the animal agriculture industry and the effects, and that's where I kind of be like, I
Now
need to say something.
the only thing that gets me into my militant, like, I put my militant hat on, is
Okay.
when is with hunters. Hunters, I cannot. Like, it's just, I lose my cool. All the kindness that I have in my heart goes away, and I become the kid from Brooklyn that grew up in a horrible, horrible place that wants to do a lot of, like, verbal damage to these people because
Yeah.
it's just insane. But so what I do is, see, what I call myself is a sneaky vegan, right?
I've
And
got a
this
bit
is
of
what,
that. I
yeah,
can relate.
and this is why, no, and this is why I say it. I use my weight loss and my health
Yeah.
and my disability advocacy and things to sow the seeds of veganism.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like a not to say it this way because I know cold is a thing, but I'm like a virus, right? I'll sneak in with my weight loss journey, right? I'll disengage you with with my positivity, and then I'll hit you right and square in the face with my veganism. And before you know it, you're like, oh man, it's true. Like, wow, he's right. That's wrong. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, don't mistake my weight loss journey and my fitness journey and my spiritual awakening journey. Don't mistake it. It is purely a veganism seed.
Of
Okay?
course. Yeah,
It is
it
it
is.
is purely used to plant that seed, and it's the truth.
And
It's the
if
truth.
people, most people care about themselves and their health.
hmm
So if that's their first, like, connection that they can make is, and just by
Exactly.
you living out your life and sharing your experience to going vegan, then it's a great thing to do. Everyone that goes vegan has such a positive
Yeah.
knock-on effect, uh,
hmm
in general. And I think I've got an analogy. Can I share it with you?
Oh, of course. Yeah,
It's about
please.
life experience and how valuable it is. So, okay, my analogy is this. If there's, like, let's say, two billionaires, if one was born in money, sometimes people don't give them kind of respect them for earning that money because they were born in money. they're billionaires. But if someone came, you know, and worked their way and became billionaires, they can inspire people like, oh, how did they do it? If they can do it, I can do it. So that's my analogy piece, that, you know, people can kind of relate more to real life real life experiences. And I think, and I think with yourself, you have gone through so much, and your strength and your determination and your positive and your solutions orientated has brought you to where you are today. And your real life story, like journey and experience, can really help others. It can, you know, and I think that's why you are so inspiring, and so many people have said that as well. And why
I'm so open.
Your lives,
That's why I'm so open, because I feel like the more open I am with the situations and the issues that I've had, the easier it is for a person, Stanley or Rebecca, somewhere 800,000 miles away from where I am, to relate to what it is that brought me to where I was at. And there's certain people here that are saying, Miss Canada said, you did it to me, sneaky, sneaky. And then Axel put, I'm a Trojan virus. I'll take that. I'll take that. You know, and the reason I say that is because we all have a way of being, right? So like, I do CrossFit, like a lot of you guys know, and they'll have parties, and they'll invite me, and they'll get vegan stuff and things like that. But me, being the sneaky vegan that I am, I'll go and I'll look over the menu that they're gonna, like, whatever somebody said they're gonna bring, I'll bring it, but I'll bring it vegan. Right?
Of course, yeah.
So I'll make a vegan pasta dish. I'll make I don't know, I think you guys call it pasties, but over here we call it pastelillos or empanadas.
Oh yeah, I've got a Latin restaurant not far. I love empanadas. I go to there quite often. But yeah, we have something similar here, like the English version's called like pasties.
Yeah, pasties. Yeah.
I love empanadas as well.
Oh man, they're so good. But so what I did the first time, like the first time I got invited to one of these, I brought them. Didn't say that it was me who made them, and I just left them there. So before I knew it, they were all gone, and everybody was like, "Yo, who made these? These are amazing! Like, what kind of meat did you use, right?"
Yeah.
And I go, well, that's a spelt empanada made with mushrooms and walnut meat.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
And they all look at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I said, welcome to veganism, my friend. I said, you know, and they were like, oh my God. Yeah, hey, sometimes you got to sneak it in. You know,
I do that a lot. Everything I bring to absolutely anywhere is vegan. So, and I like buy so much food when I'm going to like parties or you know, gatherings, and I share it to everyone, like, try this.
Try it.
And actually, it can really change perception there and then, where they can be open to buying or trying more food. So that's a brilliant way to do it.
Cause they all think what we eat is like freaking grass, and I was like, listen, I haven't ate wheatgrass in like 3 months, so I don't know what you're talking about. Right? You know, like I just feel like if veganism is going to truly be the huge movement that we know is going to be, we have to learn how to meet them halfway. Okay, we cannot expect a person to be a super vegan day one. We have to understand that people come from different religions, different backgrounds, different everything. You know, so it's like meet them halfway. Like over here in the Bronx, there's a huge upswelling of like Spanish veganism, of you know, black owned, you know, vegan spots and stuff like that. So like I lucked out. I moved to a place where veganism is really starting to take hold. You know, like
Yeah.
people, like, listen, a lot of people are starting to become vegan over here for health.
Mm.
Like they know that the health aspect of it is important,
Yeah.
right? So what we do, like a person like me and you, is we piggyback off of that and plant the seed of animal welfare.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's all well and good to be healthy, to be doing all this stuff. Like that's great. That's one of the best things about this lifestyle is the immediate shift in health, right?
Yeah.
But also, we also must be cognizant of the fact that if we're enjoying our health and we're enjoying all this, so we must do something for these animals. We cannot allow them to be slaughtered and enslaved the way they are, because will we want that for us? You know, will we
It's
want that for our families? You know, like, come on, man. Like, it's time to wake up and honestly understand. Like, all these people, oh, bacon dough. What do you mean bacon dough? Bacon is somebody's mom, bro. You know,
true.
like,
I saw it on Instagram recently, and it said, "What is a 5 minute meal to somebody is the end of someone's life. That's it." And you know, and
ooh,
that
that sent chills up
yeah,
my arm, man.
yeah.
Oof,
Even when I read it, I mean, even though I'm like vegan, but the way it was delivered, it
yeah,
was like
oof,
that is someone's whole
ah,
life gone for a sandwich.
yeah.
It's absolutely crazy to me.
Or just imagine that you're born, right? You're born, and the first thing you see is a cage, and the last thing you see is a cage. Like that's that to me is one of the saddest part of this, right? Because it's like, think about it. Us as humans, we spend, what was it, 4 or 5 months in captivity because of COVID, right? Some of
Yeah,
us longer. Like I was in New York was in quarantine for almost a year. Like
yeah.
we all had to stay home. Like no, like only go out when you needed something, and then back home. And people were going nuts. People right now in the States are going absolutely ape shit about,
Mm,
oh, we have to wear masks, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to get the jab, we have to get this, we have to. What about the animal that's forced to do all these things? Okay, an animal's life should be spent doing what they do, eating,
mm,
you know, finding, someone to love on, and live a life. Give them a life. Allow them a life. And you know what? I always used to tell people that word allow should be stripped,
it's not
because
all right.
it's
It's
not
true.
all right.
It's
It's
not all
not
right
all
to do
right.
that.
Like
Mm,
they came into this world the same way we did.
true.
Bare, bare, scared, and know nothing. Right? That's how we all come in. We all come in butt naked, knowing absolutely nothing, and crying for who? Our mother or our
Yeah.
father or our parents. That's the same way they come into this world, and the
I,
way
yeah.
and the way they leave it is just wrong.
I
Just
find it really egotistical when people think that they have a
speciesism.
right to, yeah, speciesm,
Hmm.
and they have a right to do what they want with another person, another
Yeah.
being's life.
Hmm.
And that's super sad. And you're right, it is a life of trauma and torture
Yeah.
and and slaughter, and it really 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 makes me sad. And
Yeah.
that's why for me I feel the same as what you said earlier. I feel like I found my purpose in life,
Hmm.
and every single day it is about, well, what can I do to contribute to a better kind of world. And
Hmm.
like you said, I mean, animals, and definitely vegan for the animals, but the rest is so important. You
Yeah.
know, the people, the planet, and I feel like I found my life purpose, if I'm
Hmm.
honest. And
me too.
yeah, and I've had to do quite a few things to come out of my comfort zone. Like, believe it
Yeah.
or not, a year ago, I would never have been on video, let alone alive. I
All
was so,
right.
and I tell people that all the time. I was so scared. I was so nervous. My Instagram, even though I was passionate about people finding vegan food, it was a completely faceless account.
Yeah,
And I felt inside of me, I need to do more. And then I
that's
started doing more. But you can see the journey. Like, I don't look nervous. You know, last year I couldn't do it. So, thank you so
thank
much.
you.
But
Like
now,
I feel the same way. I feel the same way because like I'm definitely I wasn't like this still to me is a little bit odd, but
yeah.
talking to you like I find it easy. Like I don't know
Ah,
why.
thank you. And you
It's
too.
yeah, it's more like two friends talking than just
Yeah.
like, you know. But the way I feel is I was told that I needed to do this. You know, I was told by my wife, like they're like
Yeah.
my wife said there's so many different like influencers, right? She said you have Nima Delgado for the bodybuilders, you know, the
Yeah.
you have what is it, Joey Carbstrong for the activists, right? Where is a vegan that looks like you? Where's the disabled vegan? Where's the positivity vegan? Where's the but I can't say that because Tabitha Brown, that's my baby, and she's doing a hell of a job being a positive influencer. I
Yeah.
love it. You know?
Of course,
So
every single person has a, you know, everyone's
change.
contributing to the change, and you are, and just being authentically you is so important. Um, you know, I've literally saw a notification that my battery is about to go, and I
Oh.
don't want to not miss this, lose this live. So even though it's been amazing talking to you, and
Thanks, same here.
it really has. It's a privilege. I don't take this lightly that you've given me your time and you've been so open. I really would love to do another live with you again, and we can
Yes,
continue
definitely.
it, or we can talk about so many things actually. But
Thank you.
I'm nowhere near.
Oh,
What do you call it? A charger? We
a
call it a
charger.
charger. And we call it a charger, and I don't want to lose it. This is like the first time that
Yeah.
happened. But I thank you so much. We've just had a
Thank you.
message come through just before we go. I think we all have our own approaches, but as long as we change lives and save lives, we're doing our best,
Absolutely.
100%. And you're both great human beings. Bless you both, and you are too. You
Thank you
know,
so much.
I always appreciate your support and everyone's support. I really, really do. We need to do this again,
Yes.
Joshua.
A 2 hour live.
Has
That's
it been 2 hours?
yeah.
I don't even know.
It's that
The only, because I always charge my phone to 100%.
yeah.
But when I saw the notification, I was like, I don't want to lose this live because
No,
my battery.
I completely understand. And to everybody out there, thank you so much for spending time with us. We are
Thank
so
you.
grateful. And if you're vegan, we love you. If you're not vegan, we still love you, but make better choices.
And
Um,
on that point, actually, if anyone has any questions, I know you are amazing. Like you said, you respond back. Feel free to DM us. So whether you're
yeah,
vegan and you want more
yeah,
information, if you're not vegan but you have questions and or
that
you want
too.
to
Yeah,
talk,
yeah.
feel free to DM us and we'll reply back. I'm speaking on behalf, but actually you said it earlier, so
No, yeah, of course. Yeah, no,
yeah,
same,
feel free,
same,
and that's what
absolutely.
we're all here to do is support each other. So
We're
um,
community, people. We're
we
community.
we are everything you do, Joshua, and
Thank you so much.
thank you for everything in your time, and thanks for everyone who's like commented and engaged and took the
Thank
time
you.
to
I
watch
appreciate
it.
it.
I
We
appreciate it.
appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna DM you soon. Take
All right.
care, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.